Hey buddies, welcome and happy Halloween to Video Games Awesome Live 2018. It's our annual tradition of opening up those buried, suppressed memories from your childhood and retelling them on the show as Becky plays Binding of Isaac. This is the first time that we've done this from Japan. It will no doubt continue to be a tradition into the future.
Yes, it's my one time a year I get to play, motherfuckers.
It's the one time that she gets to do a thing on the show.
Why don't you give her the controller sometime? You'll see why.
So today, what we're doing, if you're not familiar, what we've done is we opened up a thread on our forums saying, tell us a story about your childhood, something embarrassing, something that, you know, you don't usually like to air out. Something that, funny stuff, something you can, stuff that you can laugh at today.
Please.
If you are a Turbo and you're going to submit during the show, just know that we might not get to everything today. Also, again, keep it light. If you can't laugh at it today, if it just makes you mad or if it makes you sad and like you can't give a chuckle, just don't tell us about it today. Again, like we want you to be able to share with the community, just not during this happy, fun time Halloween day.
Yeah.
Where we're gonna, you know, all right, let's get started then.
Wait,
anyways.
do we have some sponsors?
Oh yeah, we do. And also, I guess you probably want to tell us about how your times has been playing Binding of Isaac, eh?
Well, I've just kind of been going through to show them how I've
Well, first, Laud83, we want to thank for being, who's sponsored?
Laud is sponsoring you.
And
this is him and his sister dressed up as Peter Pan and Tinkerbell for Halloween.
It's pretty cute.
It's so cute. Look at the tights. He's wearing like leggings that only go up to here.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Just straight up pantyhose.
Yeah, it's so cute.
That's interesting. All right.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. Totally.
And he would like you to, at any point that feels appropriate, do Phoenix Wright lines.
Like, just throw it the show?
Yeah.
Well, I'll need to be cued by the audience
I
to
know,
tell
I
me
should
when.
have told you about that earlier to like...
Objection!
There you go. You can yell
There you
objection to some of their bullshit whenever they tell bullshit stories.
You are foolish fool. Who's foolishly fooling.
Hold it!
Hold it! Alright. Boobies! Alright. Oh my god, that thing. Jesus. Alright, next up,
So cute.
sponsoring Becky, I suppose, is Prepaid Pie. Is that him in the middle there?
Oh, yes! As Aladdin, you're so cute.
The Jasmine is adorable. And then who's this guy with the mohawk on the left?
It's the genie, dude.
Oh, but with a mohawk?
Yeah.
This is pretty good. It's a nice
Why
interpretation. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's really cute. And what does Prepaid Pie want you to do today?
Well, he actually didn't think he was going to be able to be here because time zones and stuff. So he just wanted to say hey to everyone.
Well,
Thanks.
Prepaid Pie
He
says
loves
hey.
you.
Prepaid Pie, also known as the guy who, during our Finnish meetup, went and grabbed everybody burgers, bought
Literally.
100 fucking McDonald's burgers.
It was more than 100.
It was more than 100. Yeah, he just like eyeballed it and then went and bought a whole bunch of burgers from McDonald's for everybody. Insane.
Yeah. So sweet.
He's a legend. All right, guys, let's begin.
All right. So.
Who are you gonna play as? Will you do it randomly, like do the?
Well, guys, what do you have to do to get end 19? I don't look anything up whenever I play Binding of Isaac.
You've just been figuring it out as you go.
Yeah, I just.
And then 19 has confounded you and confused. You haven't been able to figure it out.
Well, I guess not, because I just go here and I press random on hard mode, and sometimes I play green.
So maybe
mode.
it takes like a special character doing a special thing.
Yeah, do you mind checking that out?
Did you want to go for that today in 19?
I'm thinking maybe.
Hey Siri, how do you get end 19 on Binding of Isaac?
Well, I'll start off here. We'll do it.
Wow, it actually found endings. Defeat Ultra Greed on Greedier mode.
Oh shit, so I can't get it.
Why?
I don't have greedier mode, do I? I don't want to.
Well, anyways, we begin. Becky's gonna play some of this expertly in front of us, and I hope the lag doesn't hurt you too much. I have the Pro controller down there if you wanted to switch to it at some point. If your reflexes, you don't feel like they're responding quick enough.
Okay, I might want that.
You got a little bit of, there's a little lint there. Yeah, get that the fuck out of here. All right, here we go.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Grabble is the first one on here for today's spooky Halloween tale. Well, they're not Halloween, they're just like childhood. But here we go. Grabble says, when I was in kindergarten, I inexplicably asked a teacher if I could be the lead in our end of year play, which was Chicken Little. I'm pretty sure looking back that I just wanted to wear a chicken costume, consequences be damned. I remember much about the rehearsal process, but all I can say is the actual performance night was not ideal. ... not ideal. My best friend was playing the tree that was supposed to drop the apple on my head, essentially kicking off the whole thing. Instead of doing the normal human thing and just dropping it down, she decided to curveball it into the audience, missing my head by a mile. Me, being dumb little chicken child, didn't understand that the play should start even though she missed my head.
Aww.
I proceeded to just stand there for a solid few minutes, staring at the audience, waiting patiently for my cue.
Oh.
Finally, the teacher came out on stage and prompted me to say my line. I was so confused after this that she just kept forgetting when I was supposed to say my lines for the rest of the play. Oh my god, so that just like...
They said that the game is a bit too loud.
I can actually do that from here, maybe? Oh, I can actually do it like this.
Is that a good spot? Is that good, guys? It's okay?
Yeah, I guess it would be loud.
Why is it so loud on our end?
You'll see. How's that, guys? We want it to have a little bit of sound. Maybe that's good there.
Better?
Alright, so the end of that story is funny enough. I would be way more embarrassed by this happening now than when back then. I think I was just happy to be dressed like a chicken.
Aww.
Well, you know, that teacher should have, like, you know, been smart and
Was
been
it?
like, you know, attention audience, we need an apple for our Chicken Little. Has anybody found the apple? Or something.
Yeah,
Like, make
yeah.
it funny, make everybody laugh. It's a fucking kid's production. Instead, the teacher let you just sit up there not speaking.
Was it actually that long, or did it just feel like that long?
Probably felt like that, but still. Anyways, Cool Nara's on here. Short one. I love short ones. When I was about 8, I had the flu. I woke up at night to go to the bathroom, but I got confused because I had a fever. So I pooped on my dad's new shoes and went back to bed. Did you choose the shoes? Were the shoes like the thing that you were like, well, gotta choose a part, gotta go somewhere. Can't just be in the middle of the floor.
Like right in the shoe?
In my head, it was the normal thing to do. Woke up in the morning to my dad yelling. He jokes about that.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh, that's rough, man. So wait, why? Got confused because I had a fever.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Sarkin says, I forgot to tell this one last year. I got in a lot of fights in elementary school, but never ended up getting in trouble. I was always able to patch things up with the other kid before I made it to the principal's office, so we'd both deny that we were fighting because I had a really clean record. They always took our word for it and that we were just playing. I think it helped that WWF was really popular at the time, so kids who were playing would pretend that they were Bret Hart, Stone Cold, or The Rock. Wait a minute, those are different eras. But anyways, well, I mean, yeah, okay. One time, in 2nd grade though, things went a little differently. The day after Halloween, there were a bunch of kids at recess that were comparing their candy hauls. A pair of twins in our class had the most candy, but it turned out that they had stolen a girl's candy from her backpack. She was crying and angry, and she took a swing at one of the twins. One shoved her down to the ground, and so I took a swing at the boy who shoved her. We started wrestling around on that ground until the fight got broken up and we were sent to the principal's office. Again, we agreed while waiting in the waiting room to say that we were just pretending. When I went to the principal's office, though, the other kid decided to change his story and claimed that his twin, who was the thief and wasn't involved in the fight, was actually fighting some other kid entirely who wasn't even there. So he threw his twin under the bus. Oh my god. We got off scot-free and found out the next day that the other twin got called in the office. He was so scared that he pissed his pants in the waiting room right before going in to see the principal. Oh my god. What a piece of, what a heel that kid is, throwing his own twin under the bus. Alright, BitB says, this happened when I was really young. Can't remember what age. My family went to this fantasy amusement park, kind of like a bootleg Disney with no budget. While we were there, I tripped and scraped my left knee on the concrete path. I won't go into detail, but I've been told it was pretty bad. I got it patched up though. The park had a rest stop that was themed to look like Santa's workshop, so Santa got me some bandages and fixed me right up. Now all that's left is a neat looking scar. I thought it was the end of the story, but a few years ago I was told a piece of the story that I didn't remember as a kid. When the knee scraping happened, my mom was completely unprepared for it. So to cover the wound, I already know where this is going.
Yep.
She used spare pads that she had in her purse. So the entire time we were looking for a place that had bandages, I was holding a pad to my knee. I wish I could go back and see that.
Use what you can, man.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Stops the bleeding.
It was designed for a reason.
Yeah.
Grabble has another story. It says that it isn't traumatic, but I'm fairly confident I had a hand in creating one for someone else.
Oh god.
When I was early college age, me and 2 other friends decided to go to a haunted corn maze in the area, a favorite pastime of ours this time of year. Since we were a small group, they decided to combine us with a dad and his 10-year-old boy. The dad was clearly not into it at all and was constantly trailing at the back of the group looking unimpressed. The kid wanted to be in the front and get the best scares, so I told him I'd walk with him in the front. We eventually got to a point where you have to walk through this old bus with tons of fog inside, so it's hard to see through to the end of it. I went through first and realized that I had a golden opportunity on my hands. I proceeded to duck into the corn on the right side after exiting the bus and intended on jumping up from behind the kid and scare him when he came out. I know, I'm a monster, but it was too tempting to pass up. The next thing I hear is the kid exiting the bus and a scared, "Where did you go?" At the exact moment that I decided to pop out, the giant leather-faced chainsaw man on the other side of the corn decided to as well. We both jumped out, scaring him literally at the exact same moment. Honestly, it scared me a bit too because I had no clue he was over there. The kid jumped about 10 feet in the air and screamed bloody murder. The chainsaw guy proceeded to give me a high five before he disappeared back into the corn, never to be seen again.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
When my dad asked about the chainsaw man, the park said that there was no chainsaw man involved in the event.
Yeah, right.
This fable says, that's pretty good. A high five from Leatherface on Halloween. The poor kid, where did you go? And he has a shitty dad.
Yeah.
Story number 1. Oh, Miss Fable's giving us a double.
Ooh, double head.
When I was 5, my family and I went to Disney World for our summer trip. Oh, must be nice. At some point, we decided to ride Space Mountain, and the line for it was super busy. The person leading us to our seat separated me from my parents and my brother for some reason. That's weird.
Yeah.
So I sat alone on the ride while they were behind me. My parents were mad and yelling at the guy about separating me and not having to sit next to one of them. Yeah, a 5-year-old? What the shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Maybe they weren't always, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but I guess it didn't care or listen because the ride started moving without me on Space fucking Mountain, and you were 5? I remember looking down while on the ride and seeing a big empty drop below. I started to hold onto the rail as tight as I could and just looked up. I also remember thinking while looking up during that ride that I hope I don't die because I want to see Aladdin and Jasmine in the park.
Oh my god!
Oh, what a loser. After the ride was done, I was shaking and my parents ran to see if I was okay. Apparently my parents yelled at the staff about what happened and I became traumatized from rides for a while. And yes, after the ride, I did see Aladdin and Jasmine, and I got their autographs.
Shit, yeah.
I want to know more details. Like, did the park staff end up doing anything? Did they like did Disney do anything? Maybe you got autographs because of that. Story number 2. I don't remember this, but my mom said that when I was 4, we went shopping at the mall, and in line to check out, what do you want? What? What? Come on
Hi,
up.
buddy. Lisa's here.
Come on
Hi! I cried the whole time I rode Space Mountain.
up. Come here.
Sorry guys, I have amnesia, so I'm not...
Hi.
Oh, I know where to
Hi.
go, but...
How you doing? Come here. I'm gonna get you by the... Oh, shit. Oh, you're so annoying, cat. Get over here. You know you want up.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You fuck. Anyways, alright, back to the story. Alright, so... To check out, a woman cut my mom in line. Oh, on their way to checkout. I guess I poked the woman's leg and told her that was very rude and what she did. And she wasn't a nice lady. My mom was trying to not crack up while the woman looked at me surprised. She didn't say anything to us and went to the back of the line. When we were checking out, I told the cashier that the lady behind us was very rude and I wanted the cashier to know this. After we left the store, my mom was laughing and I was confused why she was. Miss Fable, you're a little stuck-up little brat.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh,
Lisa's just watching right now.
where is she?
She's right here. She's watching the screen.
Buddy, just come up here. I wish they could see you.
Hold this. I'm going to capture her if I can. Hold this. Fuck.
This is life with
I'm just
Lisa.
going to have my legs down ready. That way I'll be ready to pounce on her when she... Oh my god. What's she doing now?
She's sitting like this.
Alright. Fist of Fury says, my memory last year got quite the reaction. Ha! This won't top it, and it's more funny and is more funny and scary. Also, I was 18 and not technically a child, but I'm now 34, so 18 is basically a kid. It was around Halloween itself, the day before, I think, all noise and wind and atmospheric too. I had been smoking some Kwede on with a few friends around a friend's place near to mine, and we'd got the munchies after a while. We headed to McDonald's in town, about 5 minutes from my house, then went our separate ways. I was around the corner from my house and something that was basically a hooded skull flew past my face. I didn't scream and didn't even run because I was pretty startled and just so yelled, just fucking take it, or words to that effect, and threw my burger at it. Then storming off and not looking back. The next morning on my walk to the station to work, the same route, I saw what it was, just someone's Halloween decoration on that got blown from the door and swinging in strong winds. A few inches away from it, my burger.
Oh my god. You dumbass.
Oh, what a
Who
dumbass.
was that?
That was Fist of Fury. Voodoo says, just fucking take it, man. Jeez, man.
The poor burger.
Voodoo says, in October of 2015, I, and along with about 6 of my other friends who were about 12 to 14 years old, went to a friend's house for their birthday. I decided on bringing my PS4 with me. Oh my god, how old are you, Voodoo?
Voodoo's young.
Yeah, I guess so. When? We met Voodoo?
Yeah, at
Which one's Voodoo?
PAX.
Which one's Voodoo?
You met their dad.
Oh, okay. Jesus. It's all a blur to me. You're all the same.
I know you, Voodoo.
We wanted to play Quiplash. I know faces, not names. And I was going to stay at his house for the remainder of the week. The 2 days were pretty normal, making offensive jokes in Quiplash, making s'mores, watching the original Star Wars trilogy. It was pretty fun. The third day, however, things got really crazy. My friend's dad decided to wake us all up at 5 in the morning with firecrackers outside. It scared the hell out of us, needless to say. When my friend and I went downstairs to figure out what happened, the dad scared us with a Halloween costume. I screamed, fell down on my back into a piece of wood that the dad was using. When I got back up, the pain was pretty bad, and it lasted for a minute or so. Didn't really think much of it at the time. About 3 months later, I figured out that I have scoliosis. My friend and I used that story as a running joke on how I got scoliosis that day.
Fuck, at least you can laugh about it.
Well, it doesn't give you scoliosis. It's just that he realized it that day.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, I guess.
So that's why it's a joke.
That escalated.
Yeah.
I didn't know what clicker did, guys. I had the best fucking run going. Well, not the best run, but I really liked my character.
Settle down.
God damn it.
Mr. Blow says this isn't my embarrassing story, but my cousin's. He accidentally sent a link to the porn he was watching to his mother. He claims he was trying to send it to his friend, but accidentally hit Mom instead of Mike. He chased my aunt around the room trying to get her phone away from her to keep her from seeing the porn. She didn't care he was watching porn, but more concerned that he was sending it to his friend. Spooky. Hi.
Hi, Dodo.
You finally decided to visit?
Can you come up here, hang out a little bit?
Here you go. Come here. Cuddle up for some spooky tales. The worst thing you can do is force Lisa to do anything.
Yeah, you gotta.
She will reject it outright. Even
You
if
gotta
it's what
make
she
it
wants.
seem like it's her idea.
There you go. Look at the screen. Isn't that fun? You can watch that.
Can
Oh, she looks happy. There you go.
Chat, what does the controller thing that I have do? It just like changes my Isaac? Is it just my Isaac? Because I feel like nothing else changed. My items didn't change. The bottom left item didn't change.
The screen has overscan. I have to
It
adjust
changes
that.
character. Alright, maybe I'll try it again. Or do you think I should keep this character?
Alright, next thing up. I grew up in a very Catholic household. As a kid, I was mortified that my family received communion. I was convinced that I was actually the body of Christ, the blood of Christ.
Oh shit, dude.
In the weeks leading up to my communion, I'd cried every Sunday thinking that I was one step closer to eating what I thought was actual flesh. My family, still to this day, makes jokes about it. That's Mr. Below again.
Yeah.
Many Dog says, when I was 8 years old, my sister used to be home after school, open the door for me every day while my parents were at work. However, one day when I knocked the door, no one opened it. It was during winter. After a few minutes of knocking and freezing my ass off, I decided, I'm out of here. I might as well have some fun. So I ran into the front yard and started playing in the snow for a few hours until the police showed up. They brought me to the station and talked to me by asking me questions about my life and family. I eventually realized that they were asking questions to see if they needed to call Child Protective Services.
Oh shit.
They then just called my parents and they picked me up to bring me home. I then found out my sister was just sleeping so heavily that she couldn't even hear me knocking. An 8-year-old playing alone in their front yard during the winter in the snow required a police pickup and not a knock at the door of the house in which they're playing in front of? That's fucked up. Those police are fucking cunts, man. Anyways.
I did want to touch on the Body of Christ one. Because they do say, as Carl said in the chat, you become the body of Christ. Like, you are the body of Christ. So it's like...
Catholics are fucking weird, man.
I get where that
cult-ass
confusion
shit right
comes
there.
from.
That's cult type shit. It's very weird. Alright. I think Full Moon Howl says, I think I was about 8 or 9, riding in the school bus home when it was storming outside and my stop was coming up. As I was about to exit, there was a little tug on my backpack. I think it was the second step, but immediately after a little tug, a bolt of lightning struck just outside the bus door.
Holy shit.
Afterwards, I ran full speed to my front porch.
That's friggin' scary.
A fucking lightning struck just outside? And what's the tug? Was that just like, are you just crediting the tug for saving your life? That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
2 short stories, says Inevitable.
son of a bitch.
Halloween, but not horror per se. When I was 4, I had moved to a new state just in time for Halloween. When I went as a lion because I was totally obsessed with the Lion King.
Nice.
Then you should have just gone as JTT. We ended up trick-or-treating early because I was young, but apparently my mom brought me out to our stoop to help hand out candy. The night was winding down, so a lot of families were going straight home, except apparently anytime someone would walk by our house without stopping for candy, my little lion legs would chase them down with fistfuls of candy to give them. My mom called this reverse trick-or-treating.
Aww.
How adorable.
It is cute.
And this one isn't Halloween, but later on, around 6, I went as a puppy. I wanted a puppy more than anything. With my mom working all day, we couldn't get one. But she was open to getting a hamster for me. So I got a teeny hamster, and we named it Angel. The first time I ever got to hold this very first pet, she fucking bit me. I was young and liked to blow things out of proportion, so I immediately told my mom that I didn't want this hamster, and that my mom needed to choose me or Angel. I packed a bag and threatened to run away if she chose the hamster, pre-planning the park I would live in because I really thought she would choose Angel for some reason. Thankfully, she picked me. Angel and I never got along, so we gave her to a more welcoming family. I didn't have to run away, and a few months later, I got a way better hamster.
Aww.
Angel's a real piece of shit. All right, Fate Creator says, "Hey crew, good to see you enjoying your new home. Anyway, my story isn't from my childhood. In fact, it's actually happened last year during our Binding of Isaac show. It was later in the show, maybe 2 a.m. Eastern time here in Ohio. I was downstairs refilling my glass of water when I heard a knock at the door. Odd, what could be that at this time of night? I thought to myself. I went to the door to peep in the eye hole, and I saw a hooded figure whose entire front is obscured by darkness on our doorstep. Naturally, I do what anyone else in this situation do, freak the fuck out and enter self-defense, repel the intruder mode. I grab the sharpest knife in the drawer, run upstairs to alert someone, awaking them at 2 a.m., yelling, "Wake up, we got a robber on the front porch." Went downstairs, she peeks through the eye hole and instantly realizes it's not a burglar. She opens it, and it's a Halloween ornament attached to the top door via metal rod with wind blowing, and the rod hits the door making a noise. Furthermore, it was a hooded goblin type of decoration. The hood sticks up such a way that perspective for someone looking through the eye hole is perfectly a hooded figure. Whoops. Although to be fair, we had been doing some Binding of Isaac show for like 3 hours at this point, and before I heard the ornament banging on the door.
We were doing the spooky ones, like the ghost ones last year, I think.
Fun fact, right after this occurred last year, I mentioned it in the chat room. You can see it if you go and watch it.
That's funny.
Vlad the Berry says, I was reading the Lion King story and got reminded of this. After watching the Lion King for the first time, all we did for a week after was act it out.
Hells yeah.
I was at Halloween celebration and my family's church, and I saw a couple had brought their year-old baby. Obviously, no way. Obviously, I took this as a perfect opportunity to hold it up like Rafiki did in the Pride Rock. I walked up to the stroller, grabbed on, and told the parents to give me their child. My dad swooped in and apologized for me, but I was ungrateful at the time. I walked away from that, closer to the woods where the haunted hayride was going on. As I was walking on my own, suddenly I was snatched from behind by an old man who's covered in fake blood. I need to stress, he actually looked very creepy, not just because I was a kid. Apparently it was some old friend of ours, and he was trying to cheer me up by lifting me up like Simba. But until my dad explained to me, I actually thought I came very close to being murdered. Wow, it was a double whammy.
Yeah, man.
Give me your child. Midnight and Beyond says, I once peed my parents' bedroom floor just to see what would happen.
Oh my god.
I once peed on my parent. Wow.
Holy shit, dude.
That's the end of the story. It said apparently pee
Just
came
to
out.
see.
Shocking.
Well,
What the
you're a
fuck,
kid, man. Sometimes you gotta try that shit out.
Ingezo says, I had a true Binding of Isaac basement experience, kinda. Okay, not really, but I was locked in the basement by a weird Christian kid when I was little. Maybe I was 7 or 8, and I didn't understand God, but I knew my big brother didn't believe, and neither did I. One day, me and my brother, twin, were playing with two... Hey, does that mean I got double turbo shift from you guys? Or is your twin a cunt and doesn't watch the show? But I knew big brother didn't believe, and neither did I. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. We were playing with the two neighbor kids over at their house, a brother and sister like us. Oh, it's a girl twin. I don't remember how it came about, but we wound up in the basement, and the brother asked me if I believe in God. Of course, I said no, and the next thing I remember, he locked me and his own sister in the basement, taking the twin upstairs, my twin upstairs, to read him the Bible. Oh, we have the girl twin in our community. That's cool. Oh. We yelled and banged on the door, and I think the sister cried, but it took a good 20 minutes or so until their parents showed up and let us out.
Oh, God.
That is some weird-ass Christian shit right there. Thanks for that, Ingezo. Lupu says, I'm more of a villain than a victim in this story, but it does haunt me as an adult. When I was 5, I was playing in the garden with my best friend while our housekeeper was burning trash in a bonfire. It was a thing. Anyway, I decided at one point we should point it out, so we grabbed a nearby plastic bottle full of water and put it out. And made my friend use it to throw water on the fire. However, it didn't go like we thought it would because the bottle wasn't full of water, it was full of kerosene.
Oh,
what the fuck? That's a really irresponsible adult, whoever did that.
Yeah?
Thankfully,
Jesus.
my friend was far enough away that he didn't catch on fire, but he ended up with heat burns. I still remember his mother freaking out at my mother in our bathroom, and him crying in the bathtub. Our friendship is more or less ended because his mother didn't want him to play with me anymore. It's understandable. Sorry to call your parents, like if it was your parents who put fucking kerosene into a plastic bottle, but that's bad labeling technique.
Oh.
I also once tied this kid to a coconut tree, though he was my best friend, and I was sorry about it. I hope wherever he is happy and isn't traumatized by knowing me in his formative years.
Aww.
Sorry, that was a bit dark. Well, it's not, he got heat burns. He wasn't disfigured. Incidentally, this was the last time the child got burned and ended up crying in my bathroom. This wasn't the last time. Due to my inability to examine things closely, as my 8th birthday, I had the slumber party and 2 friends, and we thought it would be fun to prank my parents with fake injuries. So I got tomato sauce from the cupboard to use as fake blood, which friend 1 rubbed all over friend 2's face, including her eyes. Surprise, it wasn't tomato sauce, it was chili sauce.
Oh, shit. Kids are so stupid. That's why I love these stories.
It's pretty good shit. When I was in early high school, Lisa's loving this, eh?
Aww.
When I was in early high school, I had an awesome philosophy teacher who I really liked and tried to impress. So, like the dumb little teen I was, I went out and wrote my own philosophy text thinking I was so smart. The next day I gave it to him, asking him, this is Harot Gamer, asking him to read it so maybe give me some feedback. He said he'd take it home with them and to make sure to give it some attention. A few days later, I was sent to the faculty room for interrupting class, and there it was. My text was right there in the teacher's garbage bin. I'll never forget that.
Aww.
So I don't know, is that like
really
related
sad.
to interrupting class? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Like, unrelated that you interrupted class?
Oh, no, I think it's unrelated.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's a reason why Harot was in that room.
Sounds like you wrote some shit philosophy.
Not related. Yeah.
But yeah, to have it right in the garbage bin, what the
fuck? Yeah, exactly. They should have recycled it.
Guess he didn't think you'd come to the faculty room. Oh, Lisa. That's looking cozy.
Yeah.
As a kid, my dad would this is Frico. As a kid, my dad would often spank me, like inhumanely often. Oh no.
Aww.
I saw it on TV shows that some kids would run away from home, so I thought I'd give it a try. Collected all my clothes and put it into plastic bags. It was time to make my escape. I went a whole entire block down the street to a family friend's house that I barely knew. I dumped my plastic bags on the doorstep and rang the doorbell. Their daughter came out and was really confused. Told her mother that the Jones boy was on their doorstep with all of his clothes. They called my dad, he picked me up, brought me home, and spanked the fuck out of me again. Jesus, making me realize it was silly to run away from home from such a loving parent at the end. That one's a little bit more traumatizing than I'd like, Frico, but goddamn.
Yeah.
Usually yours are a bit more lighthearted, like internet porn stories.
Yeah.
Parents shouldn't, spanking definitely shouldn't be a frequent thing. I'm one who actually does believe a little bit in spanking. I think that it should be a rare occasion, though. It should be, like, rare enough that it's like...
That you're like,
holy fuck. I'm getting a spanking. It's come to this. I am a little cunt today. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? I was being a cunt. That's how the kid should feel when he gets a spanking. And it doesn't need to be hard, either, because it's just the act that it's happening that is, like, that
Super
effect.
insulting.
Yeah, it doesn't need to hurt. The act of being bent over a knee is enough. It's just like, wow, they're in charge here.
Yeah.
They can do this. You know?
Aw, damn it. Feels like I'm walking on sunshine.
Look at me the wrong way. That's a paddling. Grabble42 says, once, after watching a horror movie with my sister, my dad thought it would be funny to wear a scary mask and rev a chainsaw while standing outside the living room window. I'm pretty sure that was the loudest I've ever screamed in my life. It's awesome. That is awesome, prank.
God, so cruel, and I would so appreciate it in later life.
Did I tell my mom's childhood story where this is spanking related? Somebody says they have a wooden spoon story, and I have one too. My mom and her brothers and sisters were like just misbehaving, like jumping on the bed or something, and their mom, my grandma, decided to like, you know, come in and give them what for. So she grabbed her wooden spoon that she sometimes would spank them with and came in and said, "Hey," and like smacked it on the side of the bed to like get their attention, and the spoon just busted in half, and they just busted up laughing, like rolling on the ground laughing at her, and said that it made her so mad, but she just dropped it, just walked away.
Oh my god. That's crazy that they laughed harder.
I mean, there goes the spoon. What are you gonna do? You're gonna have to go buy a new spoon.
If you're gonna spank me, yeah.
Bearman says, one of the last years I went trick-or-treating, my mom told me that my aunt had a special surprise for me at her house, so we planned on going there later that night. When we got to my aunt's house, she opened the door and started laughing. She said, "You can't come back for seconds, and I have more candy, She said, "Okay, don't come back for seconds and have more candy." She wouldn't believe me until my mom walked in and told her we hadn't been there yet. Some random kid got my box of homemade cookies and 5 candy bars.
Oh, crap. Score. That kid probably went back like every year wondering why they were getting shit stuff this time. I mean, score for the other kid, not for you.
Should have got a pizza paddle. About the paddling the spoon. You know, pizza paddle's a good idea because that's hard to swing. So like, it's not even like it's got more surface area. It's gonna be out of any implement for spanking, unless you put holes in it like guys who haze kids do in high school. It's not gonna hurt that much, but it's big, so it looks daunting.
Right? Yeah.
My aunt was a really good cook too. Oh
Aww.
no. Oh, isn't that sad?
Can't come back for seconds.
Psychotic Biotic says, we know her from PAX. I was born in spina with spina bifida, and as a result had limited feeling from the waist down. For me, it meant that I was unable to feel physical sensations of needing to urinate. Not the case anymore. That's good. When I was really little, about 7 or 8, my parents forced me to wear a wristwatch with an alarm that would go off every 2 to 3 hours that reminded me to go to the bathroom. And I had to even wear it to school. Maybe you can tell where this is headed. One day the whole class was gathered around the teacher while she was reading a story or some shit. The room was mostly quiet when my cuck of a watch went off, beeping loudly. I quickly turned it off. The teacher, who I guess was aware of my medical issues, was a fucking sadist. Who knows? Stops dead in her tracks and looks at me. What was that? So she knows, yet she called it out. What was that? Now everyone is looking at me. I said my alarm. And she says, and what does it say? This bitch, this stone cold bitch was straight up gonna humiliate a small child for a disability. So I answered, it says go potty. By now I'm bright red. Maybe with tears in my eyes. Maybe thinking about choking a bitch out in front of the whole class of third graders. So I had to stand up and immediately go to the bathroom. I think about this incident sometimes. Maybe it's part for the reason I wanted to become a teacher. Anyways, that's the story. I hope she's dead. Go fuck yourself, Miss Wood.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
shit.
It's good because we know you turned out okay. And you know when to pee now.
Ew.
On your own.
No, you're good stuff.
Bearman says, 9 years old, got our old swing set at school and decided to try to swing really high. Started getting pretty high, so I leaned forward into the metal chain to get momentum. The metal chain separates enough to pinch my skin through my shirt, and it's skin right next to my left nipple. I started screaming because I was swinging back and couldn't stop until I slammed my feet into the ground. Now I can't pull the chain apart because I need more force to do it. I was basically getting a crazy titty twister from the swing set. I started screaming again, and a couple kids came to help. When they realized what happened, some tried to help, but most of them couldn't stop laughing. Needing a teacher and 2 older kids to pull down on the swing to separate the chain. They couldn't stop from laughing either. Jesus. I still have a bit of raised skin next to my nipple. Ooh, nice.
Dude, that sounds fucking painful.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly painful. Swings are dangerous, man. All right, Super Neon Man Guide. This is a massive goddamn text. Long story, so feel free to skip, he says. I'm gonna skim. Because this is massive, man. Is it good?
Look at the bottom first. Look at the bottom and see if you think it's... What's the middle button?
He says I deleted it, so I'm looking at an archived version.
Oh, okay.
Well, how about take it, Super Neon Man Guy, rewrite it, just make it a bit shorter. Unless it's good, maybe the details are great. Is it good?
Fraser refreshed the forum and 10 of the stories have been edited. Probably down for... I edited it shorter like 6 times and it was still too long. That's why I decided to delete.
We need, I'm just going to refresh then if you didn't want it seen, but like consider reposting it. Like if it's good, I skimmed it and it looks like it had some funny things in there, but I mean, I know how hard it is to have brevity in writing. It's 90% of writing, man. Actually, no, 90% is getting shit on the page. But like a huge part of writing is editing. You know what's funny?
What?
The fucking, those novels we were reading in Red Dead Redemption makes me want to write again. I fucking love writing comedy. Oh my god,
I love it when you write.
Alright, what do we got here? Hot Gamer Freak.
Yes. Fraser's a good writer.
Prepaid Pie says, back when I was around 7, I don't remember...
Hi, buddy.
I don't remember why, but for some reason our teacher told us about Frostbite. 1 week later, our school had some outdoors activities in the forests. I was playing around with some friends when all of a sudden my feet went through the ice layer of the puddle. My memory is kind of foggy about the situation, but I remember being teased for a year afterwards because apparently I cried the entire way back to school and kept repeating, I don't want to lose my toes.
Aww.
Yeah, that's a pretty lame ass thing to say, you loser.
You're such an ass.
Also our sponsor for today. So imagine this kid.
Aww.
Imagine this little guy in the middle there. I don't want to lose my toes. I can show you the world. I don't want to lose my toes.
Buddy.
The next sentence, I ended up losing my toes and I walk on crutches to this day. All right. Mr. Cool Cartoons. That's awesome.
Damn it.
This guy's awesome. Look at this photo.
Nice.
Mr. Cool Cartoons is
Holy
his
shit,
name.
nice.
When I was in kindergarten, I ate too many graham crackers and drank a little too much milk. A few too many graham crackers and a little too much milk, so my tummy wasn't feeling too good. I told the teacher she was helping someone at the time, so I fell to the wayside. To make a long story short, we needed to go to the bathroom to wash my shirt of some vomit, as well as another girl's hair.
Nice delivery.
Yeah, the delivery's good. I almost butchered it. Blue Deadpool says, when I was 8 years old, I got lost in a supermarket and spent around 5 minutes looking for my mom. I went into the frozen aisle and finally found her. She didn't seem to take notice. We then did checkout and left the store. Going to the car, I was about to hop in the car when my mom opened up the trunk, turned around to get the groceries and saw me. Her eyes widened. She wasn't my mom. Oh my God! She wasn't my mom. She looked like she had the same color car and I didn't notice. She just looked like her and had the same color car. I didn't notice. I followed a stranger around the supermarket for 10 minutes, checked out with them, and then almost jumped in their car to head home. And now this poor woman thought she was about to be all over the news for kidnapping.
Shit, guys.
There's no ending to the story. It just ends there.
Holy crap.
We need the ending to this. What ended up
Like, where was
happening?
your
How did you
mom?
get reunited?
Probably just like,
She raised me to this day, bought me turbo ship, and I love my new life.
wow. That
that's
sucks. That's
Very
such a
traumatizing. That's about as traumatizing as it gets for a kid.
horrifying
To be
feeling.
separated from your parents.
Yeah. Where were we recently that a kid was looking for their mom?
Yeah. There's being like just complete trauma, but it
Yeah.
looked like maybe they'd been separated for like 10 seconds. Just like,
Yeah.
Mom, Mama! And then the dad comes along smirking. He's just like,
Oh, is that the shoe store?
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, right here. And the kid's like,
We basically walked one aisle away.
yeah. Son of a bitch says, one time in school, I was probably 9 or 10, must have been feeling sick and didn't want to interrupt the teachers to go to the bathroom. As soon as I finally got up the courage to say I felt like I was going to throw up, it was too late and I was running to the bathroom. I threw up all the way to the bathroom. I was walking out of the bathroom, heading towards the nurse. I already saw the custodian cleaning up my mess. I remember saying sorry, and he just said, part of the job, kid.
Oh, I love him.
Part of the job, kid.
Oh my god. That's so cute. Fuck, when did I get wings, guys?
Whoa, you have wings.
What the hell?
I
picked something
puked
up.
recently and didn't make it to the bathroom.
And it almost got in my hair.
We came here, we went out for karaoke with our new company, Breaker, and they took us out and gave us a lot of drinks. And I drank a lot of drinks that were given to me. And
Yeah, we drank. Okay, so we drank at dinner. We didn't eat that much.
No.
And then we drank quite
Just
a bit at dinner.
tons.
Fraser's like, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it for a
so
while,
long.
and then just
And
hit
then
me.
we went to karaoke, and they had those like meter beers, and we were just like drinking the meter beers. Just a lot of them.
I still think I could have been fine if I'd switched to water earlier.
Right, we did ask for water, and then we weren't getting it. We just got
Yeah.
more beers.
And
And then we got in a cab, and
I just felt so dehydrated in the cab. I just felt like I just want water. I just wanted water so bad. And so I just felt sick from not having water, I feel like.
yeah. And I remember the cabbie asking, like, is it okay? He was speaking in Japanese, and he was saying, like, is it okay if I take the whole toll highway? Or, like,
Yeah.
asking how we get home. And I was like, hayai, like, fast. I don't care, just fast.
Oh, you thought I was going to puke at any time?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
And then we get home, very expensive taxi ride. We get
It
home,
was like $100.
$80.
$80?
Oops.
We get home and like I'm coming in and our bathroom's downstairs and like I know I can make it. I had it timed out. I was like, I can do this. I need to puke, but I can do this. I'm not a person who's afraid of puking. I just do it like utility. It's like, I know when I need to puke and I'm going to do it. But I'm like, I can do it. And then Becky just like, for whatever reason, gets ahead of me. And I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, I don't know. I can still do this.
I
Like,
thought you
just
were
have to-
going to throw up in the sink upstairs.
No, well, I think I like leaned over it.
Yeah, you went to get a drink.
I think I chugged some water, which probably
Yes.
made it trigger even
That's
faster.
what you did.
So Becky's walking down the stairs slower than I've ever seen somebody walk downstairs, I swear. And I'm just coming behind, just trying to like keep my nausea from overcoming me. And then I'm like, nope. And I just go like this and just puke into my hand. And I'm just holding it and like, and it's just like collecting it.
And I could hear like something going on behind me, and I went like this and started running because I could like feel it. It didn't hit me. He didn't barf on me. But it was just like that feeling like, oh my god, I need to get away.
Yeah.
And then it went
Yeah.
everywhere.
All over the bathroom. I didn't really make it to the...
You didn't make it.
No.
It was like...
It was bad.
It was on... Oh my god, it was...
Everywhere.
I'm surprised. Was it on the ceiling?
Nah, I don't think it was on the ceiling. It was everywhere though.
It was all over the walls. Like, I was like, I'm impressed. Like...
The good thing was it wasn't super gross
How?
puke, surprisingly.
No.
It was just like I'd eaten a lot of tomatoes.
Yeah.
We were being served these fresh tomatoes.
Yeah, they were really
They were delicious.
There's a lot of tomatoes.
So it was just tomatoes. Like it wasn't like that. It didn't even smell that bad. So there was that. It was good.
Oh, snap.
Every so often, you know, you gotta celebrate. You gotta puke.
Yeah.
It's just better if it goes in the toilet.
It is a lot better. And you know what? You were amazing, babe, because you cleaned it all up.
Ah, Rudiger. I'm gonna go save Hugo. Enjoy your time with Becky for a bit. Probably got him cornered.
Yeah. What does You Feel Faded do, guys? Alright, I've been in there like 500 times. I think it makes you invisible randomly. Okay, sweet. Can you see everything on my screen? You can't see what's in the bottom left. Yeah, so I have that invisible thing right now. I love this game, guys. You're going as a Neon Valley girl? That's not an earthquake, that's Fraser walking by.
I'm not fat. Why'd you pause it?
Cause I don't like shows where I can't read the chat. It feels like I'm ignoring them or something. I wanted to just see them for a little bit.
Uh-huh. Alright, let's get back to the stories, y'all. How long have we been going so far?
What time
Probably
is it?
take a break soon. We'll
Yeah, I
do
think
another
it's-
story. When I was in first grade, this is from Cookie Saber, I went to my first haunted house, which was really only a black tarp tunnel with so-called spooks. I have always been very jumpy though, so when a tall guy dressed as a clown scared the crap out of me, I instantly started sobbing. I got out of the tunnel and the guy tried to apologize, but I just hid behind my mom.
Aww. That's
Short
nice
and
that
sweet.
you tried to apologize.
Aqua Painter says, back when I was about 8, I decided it'd be a good idea to try to surprise my friends by jumping on her during recess. The thing is, though, that in the middle of the winter, our school playground was just coated in ice. She fell backward, landed on my leg, and broke it in both my shin and my thigh. Jesus!
Good lord.
How could it... How? Was this girl a truck? I was screaming really loudly since I'd never been in that much pain before, and it drew a pretty big crowd before the teacher finally carried me inside. I got in a lot of trouble from my parents, and my older sister apparently resented me for months because I got put in a full leg cast and my family couldn't go on our spring break vacation to Mexico anymore because we couldn't go on planes.
Wonder why you couldn't go on a plane.
Like, you deserve to get in, like, a shit ton of trouble for just simply being a kid, jumping on a girl. Anyways. To make things worse, once the cast finally came off, it had been so long that I couldn't move my leg anymore since my muscles were so stiff.
That's the worst.
Even when it got taken off, I had to spend a few months in a wheelchair and I had to relearn how to walk from scratch. To this day, 15 years later, that leg is still pretty stiff, and sometimes if I do too much exercise... Oh, it's pretty stiff if I do too much exercise, so that dumb decision still haunts me.
Shit, that's
not a dumb decision, it's a normal kid decision.
Yeah, totally.
To jump on another kid.
Yeah.
Alright. Doublefinger says, so back in grade school I had some anger issues, and as a kid, kids like to exploit these things. The other ones would tease me until I exploded. Now, generally, the other boys would do this, and I would hang out with girls who were a lot nicer to me. I used to visit this after-school care club with lots of the same kids I went to school with. Upstairs, they had 2 rooms, one for boys and one for girls. Though it wasn't strictly separated. Boys could hang out in the girls and vice versa. Of course, I'd have liked to spend some of the time with the girls' room. Unfortunately, I could be a bit, abrasive as a kid, and for the day the girls were fed up with me, I told them and told me to leave them alone. I think I'd had a shitty week, though I'm not sure, but most of the weeks were shitty back then, so it's likely. So, anyways, them wanting me to leave didn't sit well with me, and I started getting into a rage, screaming at them, and eventually I left the room and slammed the door so hard on my way out that it broke at the hinges. I guess I was a strong kid, humble brag. Now, of course, they had to call my mom and explain to her that her idiot rage-fueled son was going around destroying property. While very embarrassed at first, I eventually adopted a state of mind along the lines of, well, it happened, can't change the past, so why fret about it? Man, I was weird, exhausting child, I think.
Aww.
Cupcat. Oh my god, that's great branding. Who is this Cupcat Turbo? Man, this makes me realize how many turbos there. Look at that branding.
Ah, that's awesome. It's like a little cup that looks like a kitty.
We have so many turbos, this makes me realize, that don't show up, never talk in here. Who's Cupcat? I would love to say that name more. Be in the chat. Anyways.
Cupcat, you're a cunt, is what he wants to say.
Yeah, I want to be able to call you a cunt. More like cunt cat.
Yeah.
Once I was coaching one of the kids Once when I was coaching one of the kids I was coaching called me over to tell me something. Okay. He told me he had peed his pants a little and didn't know what to do. In that moment, I thought of the scene in Billy Madison. I didn't pee myself, but I told the kid to splash some water on the front of his shirt to make it look like he just spilled water on himself. He loved that idea. I like how confidently he walked around after in his wet clothes. I'd like to think that this was a childhood trauma evaded.
That's really cute.
Walking around like...
That was Cupcat's story?
Yeah. With water all over.
As someone who peed their pants a lot when they were little, that probably could have saved me. I just always had 500 pairs of pants on me, just for when I peed myself, not if.
It's just, it feels like there's 2 different types of adults. There's the ones who are just like, to kids, like that I grew up with. There was the far more common ones where like, what have you done? What have you done? And like, this is how you do things in this world. Welcome to this world. I've been in it longer, and this is how you do things. Meanwhile, there's the other adults who are much more rare, but they're just like, hey, this will come up every so often. Here's how you deal with it. This is how I deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, like there's these guys who are just laid back. Usually they're guys, unfortunately. It's very rare. I remember a few female teachers, like one, that was really cool. It's rare, I feel like.
I am imagining Becky walking around college with this spare pair of pants slung around her shoulder just in case. Funny.
Yeah, some people just following crappy parents' example, like that's the worst part, is it just perpetuates itself, right?
Yeah.
All right.
My family's very like, oh, shit happens.
Yeah, your family has a good attitude that way.
Yeah.
For sure. My parents had no closed door policy when I was growing up and would often just lurk in my doorway right where I couldn't see them.
Oh, shit.
You know what? If you're going to have a no closed door policy, it should also be a no lurking policy as well. It's like, open doors is one thing, but don't be a spying little cunt. Mom. Anyways, my room was a bit of an angled walls and a galley hall. I don't even know what that is. You sound rich. This is DSKTY. And watch me reading or playing with toys on the floor. I had a large mirror on my dresser, and it was angled just so that when I looked up, I would see my mom and dad just standing silently in the middle of the doorway right behind me. Wow. They would say they were just checking up on me and didn't seem to understand that it never failed to scare the crap out of me. To this day, my biggest fear is looking in mirrors at someone standing behind me. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Your mom and dad sound kind of crazy.
Maybe they are.
No closed door policy, plus just silently standing and watching their kid from a distance. We just want to make sure you're not one of those sexual deviants. Why did you do that thing with the toy? Why did you make that toy touch the other guy? He was giving him a piggyback. But why do you have to do it like that? It's really in tune with the Binding of Isaac mothering.
Yeah.
Pearl says, hey, it's Pearl. I also like her icon so much.
Pearl.
It's so not her, you know? It's how she's decided to portray herself. When I was 7, I used to spend summer break with my grandma while she worked making gift baskets in a mall. One time, when my grandma left to do something, I decided to steal a huge bag of chocolates that would go into a gift basket, thinking no one would notice. When I got home, I ate the entire thing, not knowing that the chocolates were chocolate-covered coffee beans. So I felt really sick and super jittery. Later that night, my grandma's boss called my mother asking if I knew anything about someone stealing, saying that whoever did it would go to jail, obviously just to scare me. I broke down crying, begging my mom not to go to jail, which my mom and grandma found hilarious.
Aww. That's what you get for stealing, Pearl.
What kind of a fucking operation is this guy running? That he can tell that a single bag of goddamn chocolates went missing from his senior citizens employed friggin' gift basket business. Like, we're down one
Somebody must have complained.
We're down a bag of tiny chocolate-covered coffee beans. Like, this is I'm gonna have to stay up. I'm gonna stay way past working hours to call every employee and get to the bottom of this. Like, who is this fucking guy? Like, Jesus, what's your time worth, man? Just write it off.
Yeah.
So maybe one of the grandmas got hungry. Fucking deal with it. Consider it a bonus. Anyways. Blue Deadpool says, I was playing with a toy gun in the street once, one of those plastic pew-pew futuristic guns. I was having a hell of a time until I saw the neighbor was walking past. I aimed the gun at them and pulled the trigger, and did the classic pew-pew sound. That's when the neighbor decided to play along. He pretended to get shot and fell on the ground in a dramatic Oscar-nominated acting form. I started crying my eyes out, thinking I just murdered a man and was going to get arrested. I even ran inside and said to my parents, I just shot someone, through tears. That's when the neighbor knocked on the door, and I screamed, hiding behind my dad, thinking they were a zombie coming to eat our brains.
Oh my god.
This feels like a bit of an embellishment at the end.
So what should you say about that?
How dumb of a kid were you? What?
You gonna
What?
give some objection to that?
Objection!
There you go.
Alright.
Oh shoot, I should have saved that.
Alright guys, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back after this with more Binding of Isaac and traumatizing childhood stories on Video Games Awesome Live. Happy Halloween! Hey guys, welcome back. Alright, we're sharing our childhood traumatizing stories here. We've had some good ones, some cute ones.
Who are our sponsors today?
Oh yeah, we have sponsors here for this Halloween. Going with the old Laud 83 there with his sister as Tinkerbell. And him in pantyhose. That's traumatizing. I love how this is basically a traumatizing photo. Like,
it's so cute. I feel bad that I pointed it out now. That's
it's
all
amazing.
you can focus on.
That's incredible. I fucking love it. It's incredible. I mean, if you didn't end up knowing, that's like it's not traumatizing, but it's just a story in the making. Some kid pointing out and be like, "You're wearing pantyhose."
Yeah, I guess
Be
so.
like, "No."
And Peter fucking Pan. It doesn't matter.
Except Peter Pan wore full leggings all the way up.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Maybe not in the book he read.
Right. And then these guys with that weird creature of a genie on the left.
Yeah.
Is that siblings on left and right there, prepaid by? Pretty cute.
Definitely.
All right.
All right.
Here we go. Jonas says, last time I wrote here about my dog biting me after I was accidentally left home, you guys just felt it was a horrid, traumatic story. So here's a milder one. When I was a kid, I was at my grandma's garden and some burrs got stuck in my shoelaces.
Burrs are the worst.
My parents told me they were baby hedgehogs. Years later, I told the story in school and everyone laughed at me, including the teacher. It never occurred to me that my parents would lie.
Oh, oh my god, that's so cute and innocent.
It doesn't pay to tell a kid stuff like that.
Oh god, but the number of shit you tell kids.
But I guess, where do you draw the line, right? You want to tell them cute little things like that to make them feel like the world is magical. Like, baby hedgehogs in my shoes, mama. And then, it's like, if it's wrong to tell them that, do you not tell them about, do you tell them the truth about Santa?
Yeah, I don't know.
What level of lying is acceptable to a child?
You seem to be a lot more sensitive to that than I feel like I am. We all, got lied to forever.
I want kids to have a magical, I think magical lying is fun because it adds a mystique to life, but you don't want to, go too far with it either. Because you want kids to be pragmatic and you don't want them to become one of those kids who believes in ghosts.
Hey.
You don't want to...
Ain't no thing wrong with that.
Yeah. Rudiger's butt is showing and it won't go away. It's going to be there for the whole show.
I'm sorry, guys.
Deal with it. All right. Not a childhood story, says Lionheart, but this has happened a few years ago. I was in the living room watching TV when all of a sudden I hear a loud thud at the side of my house. Thought it was just
Was it a ghost?
Someone just threw something at it, looked out my door, saw a body outside lying unconscious next to my door. After trying to wake the guy up to no avail, I started yelling at my neighbor, thinking the guy was dead and worrying about how things would look with a dead body near my door. After a few minutes, the guy near my door woke up, completely drunk off his ass, slurring his speech. Turns out he was dropped off by a cab, and being drunk as he was, he thought he's at this place, and it's a story I won't be... Alright.
Oops. That's freaky, though.
Took the guy to a local... His neighbor took the guy to a coffee shop to sober him up. Not childhood, not really traumatized. My heart, sorry. Doublefinger says, so not sure this is super embarrassing, but certainly didn't help my reputation back in grade school. In second or third grade, during break, this one classmate of mine was bragging about taking Taekwondo and Aikido for some other martial arts for a couple months and claimed that he could beat any of us in a fight. That moment, the smartass came up to me with a plan and claimed... Little smartass me came up with a plan and said, yeah, I could take you out, no problem. Wanting to prove his point was Doublefinger.
Oh, God.
We agreed to have a fight, so we took a stance opposite one another, and with the other watching us, as far as I remember, the only rule we agreed on was the first to get on his knees lost. One of the other kids counted down to the fight, and the moment the fight started, I kicked the kid in the nuts. He went down, ringing in agony as I stood victorious. Now, the other kids weren't as impressed with my technique and claimed bad sportsmanship, which I didn't really understand, thinking I had simply exploited my opponent's weakness.
Yeah.
Well, again, I certainly didn't make any friends that day, but that's how I won my first fight, so another humble brag. Sorry about that.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
dude, you never do that. You never go for the nuts. Come on, man. Come on.
And that's when he learned that lesson.
Aqua Painter says, this is... Won the fight, though. Yeah, you're right. This is probably more traumatizing for my younger brother than me, but I keep telling it over the internet anyways.
Nice.
When we were kids, my brother slept in a room with a bathroom in the room up on the right, and my bedroom in the... Okay, wait, what's going on here? When we were kids, my brother slept in a room with the bathroom in the room to the right, and my bedroom was on the room to the left. Okay. One night, maybe 2 or 3 a.m. when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I woke up and opened the door and he opened the door and came into my bedroom. I was confused what he was doing at first, watched in absolute terror as he proceeded to directly pee all over my Barbie dollhouse that was in the middle of the floor in my room. Apparently he was so tired he'd gotten mixed up which room was the bathroom and didn't notice in the dark that he was in the wrong room, but part of me still thinks he did it on purpose. I cried a lot and my poor mom was forced to get up in the middle of the night and clean up the carpet, most importantly, my Barbie house. Jeez.
Oh, God.
That's rough. Cookie Saber says, I was on a camping trip in a venturing scout troop, which is basically Boy Scouts, but co-ed. And
Ooh, hells yeah.
we had tacos and churros to cook up for dinner. What kind of fucking dream childhood is this?
Yeah, seriously.
I didn't realize the taco meat was pre-seasoned, and I thought that the seasoning meant that the churros was the taco seasoning. Our tacos turned out to be very sweet and the churros bland. For an entire year, I was reminded of my mistake. So the churros had like sugar separate. That's so weird. It's such a lame story, Cookie Saber, but it's adorable. It's very innocent.
It is very innocent. It's cute.
I mixed up the churro sugar for taco seasoning. I was so embarrassed. Everybody said I was the sweetest taco maker. And I never lived it down. Everybody would talk about how sweet my tacos were. Flashpoint says, tee. Yeah. Sweet tacos. Flashpoint says, so this might not be a childhood story, but this is about my first foray into online dating and it was very suitable for Halloween. Alright, I'll give it that then. If it's not childhood, at least it's Halloween. This just happened back in January of this year. Set the scene. We only chatted for a couple of days through popular online dating apps. She seemed nice, so we decided to meet for drinks. We met after the second drink. She started mentioning again about her small pet dog, which had passed away back in November 2017. How upset she was and such. Sounds like a sure thing. So, I don't think much of it since I understand missing a pet. But it started to get a bit odd when she started talking about getting her pet cryogenically preserved or taxidermy. The conversation continued to get more awkward as she mentioned that she hadn't decided yet. I thought, hadn't decided yet? The dog died in November and it's January, what the fuck? So I don't feel like I'm being an asshole. I think to myself, just ride the night out, leave, part ways, forget the evening. Then she proceeded to say that because it's so expensive to get it done, she decided to get a dog hermetically sealed and is keeping it in her fucking freezer. But this was okay because it allows her to take the dog out when she misses it so she could hug it for a while. So yeah, that's... You gotta let go.
God, that's...
Safe to say it was, asshole or not. Waiter, check please. This night was over. I didn't attempt online dating again.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, how do you deal with that situation whenever you're there? Like... Oh, I'm really sorry.
Was she cute at least?
Oh.
I mean...
Oh, fuck. I got too close to it.
Like, cute crazy, still cute.
Eh.
Jonas says, that's a pretty interesting story though.
Yeah.
Here's another one. It was Christmas and all I wanted to do was video game console. Didn't matter what kind. My parents like to wrap all kinds of crap just to have a huge pile of presents. That's Becky's parents, mom. Mm-hmm. But there was a larger squared one with a good weight to it, and I suspected it might be a console. I kept asking leading questions like, you can can you play on it? My mother thought for a while, and she would answer by smacking me. No, she would say yes.
Aw, I liked it.
Enjoy your Nintendo, you little brat. Naturally, I opened the present last. It was a globe, and an old one at that. It had countries on it that didn't exist at that point. What the fuck,
damn.
man? What, did you get a console? That was your last one, so it wasn't the console? You got a fucking globe for Christmas?
Yeah, and I guess actually that's not cool when you're expecting a console.
All you wanted was a fucking console, and you got a goddamn globe. Worst mother ever.
Aw, can you play on it? Aw. I remember one year for Christmas, there was like this awesome present under the tree for me that was like shaped like this. And I saved it for last because I couldn't figure it out, and I'd shaken it and made all these noises, but like my parents would often put like noodles and things so that, you know, it didn't make sense. I played with the globe. And so I was like super into it, like trying to figure out what it was, and then I opened it and it was like this skeleton that you had to put together, and it was like super educational and I think really fun now, but I remember being super disappointed. I was like, oh.
What did you think it was gonna be?
I don't know.
But you were disappointed.
Yeah.
You were hard to please, Jesus.
I was disappointed. But I actually really liked it after.
Bunny Hood says, when I was 7, I had some bad OCD with typical rituals like flicking lights a certain number of times, having to say phrases a certain number of times, flushing the toilet, walking paths, etc. Otherwise, something bad would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also 7, and like a lot of other 7-year-olds, I was dead set on turning into a tiger when I was older.
Turning into a tiger?
Yeah, you might have misgauged a lot of other 7-year-olds. It's a pretty specific thing. I'm sure you could find some other ones out there, but I don't know if a lot of other ones want to turn into a tiger when they're older. I would crawl around on all fours, attack my mom's legs, and carry stuff in my mouth a lot. You know, typical kid animal stuff.
Oops.
Again, I don't know if you're like, the typical is the right word.
No, kids do that. Like, Everly pretends to be a dog all the time. And we'll like...
But he did this a lot.
Aw.
It says... Well, it got to the point where I was sure if I only used the litter box at specific times for a specific amount of time, I'd eventually become a feline.
Oh my goodness.
My mom had to hide the boxes behind heavy boxes of nonsense that I couldn't move, but so that our cats could still use it in peace. Looking back, my plan was flawed from the start, as tigers don't even use litter boxes. I'm fairly sure having OCD before all this made me take this a little...
Oops.
I'm not sure if they meant to try to do a pun here and say a litter further than I normally would have. Because they typed littler further than I normally would have. Would have been funny.
I like to think that it's a pun.
Litter further than I would have normally. I'm not sure if it made my rituals, what made my rituals stop, but one day they just did. Well, that's
wow,
good.
Wow, shit. That's nice.
See, it's one thing if you just told me the story, I'd be like, oh man, you're a crazy kid. But it's the fact that you assert that this was typical. Typical kid stuff, trying to be a real actual cat. Fisherman8520 said, posted this for the other years, but I don't think it was written out. When I was about 14, my best friend was making a presentation for a school, and the library asked me if I had seen this popular porn.
At 14?
What 14-year-old is like, have you seen the popular porn that is going about?
Kids that have internet.
But it's not a popular, it'd be like, have you seen porn?
Yeah.
Not the popular porn. Anyways, then he proceeded to find the video. You can imagine my horror when I realized the video was not about 2 girls, 1 cop, but it was 2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh.
Luckily, we didn't get caught, but to this day, I still gag every time I think of that video. So did the kid know what he was about to show you, or did he really not know and you both looked it up and both got shocked at that moment?
I wonder if the kid would even admit. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he knew, says Fisherman. Oh, that's a shame. That's a son of a bitch, that kid. But 14, man. I mean, fair game. Llama says, I had a Halloween sleepover at my best friend's house one year and had to sleep in the room on the ground floor with a huge window and no curtains. Our imaginations ran wild, picturing whatever murderer might be beyond the glass in the
Welcome
dark.
to my mind.
And we eventually got to sleep. A couple hours later, I woke up to a horrible, wet, crunching sound. It took me a few seconds to psych myself up to open my eyes and see what it was while having a heart attack. I eventually opened them, and my eyes met her cat's eyes reflected back at me in the dark. As he slowly crunched together, crunched through the mouse that he was eating right next to my head. Wow, that is scarring.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That shit you can't shake off for a while.
Yeah.
That's really gross.
That's
It also means that
fucking
kitty likes
creepy.
you. It brought
That's
it to you
true.
to eat in front of you. It means that he wanted to share.
It was bad. Yeah.
That's actually a really cute gesture by that kitty to bring it to you.
God.
Wet crunching is about as gross as it gets. Timberwolf says, around the start of first grade, I was sword fighting a sibling with a wooden sword from a Renaissance fair, which led to jumping onto my parents' bed.
Jumping on my pants back.
This is Timberwolf, yeah. Anyways, after a few clumsy clashes, they retreated from the room, and I interpreted that as a victory and threw my arms up triumphantly when my socks slipped on the edge of the bed and everything went dark. When I came to, all 6 of my siblings, Jesus, were hovering around me, over me, and explained that I fell and struck my head on a bookcase and cut my left eyebrow open. My twin sister found me and shrieked, "He's bleeding!" I needed to go to the ER, but had to wait for my parents to return home to take me. I don't recall if my skull was visible through the cut, but I remember waiting in the reception area getting a few looks. I ended up getting 3 stitches on my brow. When I shared the story at school, a few classmates decided to tease me, dubbing me Frankenstein for a few preceding weeks. That's awesome. But where's the
Frankenstein's a
trauma?
sweetheart.
Over time, it dawned on me that if I had landed on the shelf a few centimeters lower, it would have gashed my eye open and potentially ruined my sight in that eye. Well, I guess that is scary. I'm always reminded, did I ever talk about how Dustin was bouncing on the couch with me once, this old couch, and then he slipped and like just started screaming.
Oh God.
And we looked down, and right on the ankle was this cut about that long, like an inch long.
Uh-huh.
Just right across the ankle bump.
Oh my
and
God.
the bone was visible.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah. And I was just like fuck. Like I didn't know how to deal with this. I was like I wanted
Was it
to
just you and Dustin?
Yeah, but Mom was nearby and I had to
Okay.
go get her and be like, Mom, I have no idea what's even wrong. Like there's white visible there. Like I could, in my head, I knew it was like, we were old enough to, I was knowing it was the bone, but it just seemed so crazy that you could just see a bone.
So did he have to get stitches?
Man, he cried all the way to the hospital, man. He was in pain.
Did you hold him?
I was trying to be like I tried to console him. I felt really bad for him.
Oh,
But it turned out what had happened was this couch, it was an old couch and had like one of the springs, the wire was like out the side of a cushion.
Oh.
And it had just this pointy metal wire just sliced his ankle.
Oh,
He always got more hurt than I ever did for like basically the same things that we he always just got hurt. I barely ever got hurt.
even now, man.
I think I was just always way more careful when we would do the same things.
Yeah.
He would do the same things as me, but he just threw caution in the wind, whereas I'd be like,
Yeah.
careful.
I could see that for sure. Did you see he recently fucked up his ankle too?
I'm sure he did. Like, he always gets injured.
Yeah.
One time, Dustin had to go to the doctor because he was feeling like just nauseous all day, and he didn't know why. and he said it felt like he'd just been kicked in the groin or something. And he was probably about 16, I think. I was 18. I just moved out, I think.
Yeah.
And it turns out he goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, that's right. Inside, one of your testicles has wrapped its like tube around the other or something like that. It was like cutting off blood circulation to one of his testicles.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're gonna have to get that unwrapped. Like, and said to my mom, don't break the law, drive safe, but get there quick. And she's like, gotta save my son's balls. Like fucking pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
All the way to the hospital.
I remember that.
Sorry,
that
these
was
are
shitty.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I just heard about it. Like, I remember him coming home and being like, and my mom saying what had happened. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Man, fuck.
So.
Somebody says you have 18 hours before you lose them. How do you know this?
I remember it being like pretty serious.
Is he okay with you telling us
He's
that?
fine. If he's not.
It's like, this is like a 17-year-old story. I think that he'd be fine with it today. I mean, it's not like he did anything to himself to do it. It's just apparently a thing that can happen to you.
Yeah.
It can just happen randomly. And that, I think, if anything, was what made it traumatizing to me. I wasn't a child, but I was 18 and I'm like, that can just fucking happen? That can fucking happen? So, like, you're always thinking about that from then on. Whenever you feel, like, nauseous, you're like, is my balls? Is my balls wrapped around? Darren said it just recently happened to myself. Oh, my God. Like, that's fucked up, man. What the fuck?
And that's the thing, too, about, like, some medical things. Like, nobody talks about it, so it happens to you, and you're like, that's a fucking thing?
It's proof positive that there is no God. Because what divine creator would make that a thing? That wouldn't figure that out. If he is a divine creator, then he sucks at it. Because that's a bad design. That's bad design that happens. Come on. Anyways, all right, here we go. Blue Deadpool says, me and my family were driving to Whitby, a seaside town in England that is a big abbey on a cliff that Dracula was inspired by. I get car sick sometimes, and it was quite a long journey. I felt sick in the car, but nothing ever came up. That's when I finally got out and started the tour of the abbey. Walking around the ruins of this huge castle was mind-blowing, and we came to a plaque which said some information about a big crowd around it. There I go, car sickness coming, and I threw up all over the plaque. The text was engraved in the stone, so it filled the plaque to look like it was written in puke. The crowd all looked at me, the boy with vomit dangling from his lips.
Aww.
Ruining this great abbey. Sorry, Dracula. That's pretty good.
How old was he?
That's pretty good. I don't know if he said exactly.
I don't know. I want to be in one of those situations sometime to be a person there that's like, it's okay, dude. Like, not be disgusted with them.
Just to like, hey, shit, man. That's one pukey plaque.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. This Retro Ran's image is a picture of me with him. That's awesome, because I don't know your name, but I do remember meeting you.
Yeah.
It's awesome if you use that picture. Just using your picture in general is a good thing. I remember faces really well.
Yeah.
When I was in 3rd grade, back when I was living in the Philippines, our teacher was sick that day, so we had a teacher next door check in on us every so often.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We were told to study or do homework, but everyone just kept on talking and being very noisy. The teacher next door came back multiple times to tell us to keep it down, but my class kept on going. Teacher came in again, very pissed. He said, if we don't cut it out, she'll cut off all our hands.
Oh my God.
How old? This is 3rd grade. The entire class is quiet. I remember asking something to my classmate sitting next to me, but they just responded with shh and made the hand cutting motion. Like, shh.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
As if that fucking worked. I will cut off all your hands because that will make you quiet.
Yeah.
What's up, Lisa?
Hi, Lisa Bud.
That's just really good. That's good stuff.
Man, the shit you can't get away with now.
Well, I mean, this is a young guy. This happened, like, not that long ago.
Yeah, but you can't get away with it now.
Yeah, it's true. It'll go on the, like, fucking Twitter. It'll go around. I have a long
School in the
story.
Philippines was very strict. Yeah, man. She wasn't joking.
Oh, you're in that was the Philippines? So you're from the Philippines? You were living there. Huh. I can't wait to go to the Philippines. It looks like
Yeah,
a nice
man.
place.
This is fucking craziness, guys. Look at this shit.
Solar says, that's SOLR. He says, I have a long story, but it's a good one. It's called, he titled it. This is called 50%. All right. I'm trusting you. Hey, what's going on with the audio?
Just.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah, it's because whenever I'm shooting, it's very loud.
But
With
even
all
the
the
music cut
splashback.
out. It's weird. When I was 13, we lived in a small city of Ukraine. In a small city in Ukraine. One of the fun activities for me and my friends back then was exploring abandoned construction sites that were plentiful around town. Some were dormant for years and years. Our game was trying to figure out the purpose of the future building. It wasn't much of a game. Most of the time it was obvious that the building was supposed to be an apartment house, offices, or maybe a school. There was a girl I liked. I don't remember how we met. Her name was Marina. She was younger, but not by much. We have kissed once. So one day I invited her to explore the gigantic construction near where my aunt lived. This is 13. You'd already kissed a cute Ukrainian girl.
Oh, man.
What a life.
Yeah.
Ukrainian girls are the cutest.
They are very cute.
So large building. So one day,
Some of
okay, to gigantic construction near where my aunt lived. It was not a high-rise, sprawling area with several large buildings. It was genuinely, I was genuinely curious. I had no idea what it was. She agreed.
I was quite a player.
We went and rummaged through the site for maybe half an hour. We had fun, but the building made no sense to us. Some rooms were big, some were small, medium-sized corridor stairs, galleries, balconies. We still had no clue for the purpose of any of it. Then we went through a door, and suddenly, in an enormous hall, it was completely dark. The only light source were the door we walked through, some narrow windows 20 meters high above us under the ceiling, and the second door on the opposite wall, maybe 60 meters away. They did not illuminate the hall in the slightest. We could not see the walls, we could not see the floor, just a dim rectangle of a door on the far side, some light from behind us, and the blackness in between. We could have turned around, but we've already seen this part of the house. We decided to cross the room and to see what was behind the faraway door. And I took a step forward. Vividly, I remember realizing two things in the next second. First, I realized we could not see the floor. The hall had no floor. Then I realized what the building was, a sports center, and we were falling into the pool. I realized all of it before hitting the bottom. I was a clever boy. I fell on my knees, hands and elbows, hit my head, sharp pain through my right hand. Then I remember Marina screaming next to me. She was hurt and terrified. I grabbed her by the hand in complete darkness and looked up. I could just make out the edge of the pool above us, not as high as I feared. I ignored Marina's screams and gave her a boost and pushed her up and out of the pool. Then jumped, grabbing the edge and climbed out myself. We stumbled through the building and outside. Marina sat down and started crying even louder. I was assessing the damage. We had both had bloody knees and elbows, both had blood and dirt on our faces, and a dislocated middle finger on my right hand. I tried to clean Marina up with my shirt and some leaves and started talking to calm her down, but she was furious. She screamed at me, called me an idiot, hit me a couple times, ran home crying. Then I managed to pull my finger back into place. The way my grandpa once showed me.
Oh
Today,
my God.
it still clicks when I bend it.
Jesus.
The day after the next, I went back there with a flashlight and found a big hall again. It was indeed an indoor Olympic-sized swimming pool with 10-meter diving board on one side. The pool was 6 meters on that end. We went through the door on the shallow end. Had we gone in through the other door, the deep end, and taken a step forward, we would have been found by smell after about a month, probably.
That is insane.
In my whole life, I've never understood something as clear as this. 1 room, 2 doors. The odds were 50-50, a 50% chance of killing me and my girlfriend. I stood there for 5 more minutes and stared at the deep end. 3 months later, my mom and I moved to Germany. I never saw her again. That's scary. That is traumatizing. That sticks with you, I guess.
Yeah.
Jesus. Don't explore construction sites,
That
guys.
sucks because I was like, that's so much fun. That would be amazing.
Had you not fallen into the pool,
lucky.
you were probably going to get another kiss.
And yeah, also that, like, just that kind of accessibility to...
Adventure.
Well, a quiet...
Oh, a place to kiss.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
So that's why I always have a flashlight with me now. Or how about just don't explore construction sites, you idiot? All right, Fluffy Jake says...
Hey, Fluffy Jake. I hope your essay's going well.
His what?
He's writing an essay right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I read the chat.
Oh, he was in there?
Yeah.
I've never seen Fluffy Jake in there. I'm not even sure he exists. When he says, when I was about 10, my sister... Oh, there he is. Says, hello, thanks. It isn't.
Oh.
When I was about 10, my sister and I started trick-or-treating. So I decided to go alone. So I took my bike to go to the houses. I rode around my neighborhood houses dressed up as a flip phone.
Damn.
But I was
cool.
distracted by this huge line of kids outside a house, which I guess was giving out those big bars.
Oh, yeah.
So distracted that I smashed my face right into a mailbox. Everyone saw and laughed. My parents walked over trying to help, but I had too much pride. So upset, I walked my bike home, a sad flip phone.
Oh.
What a fucking lame costume.
No, dude, that's cool.
Oh my god.
I like it. Today... Hi, buddy. Meow. Today we went to Koenji and there were kids trick-or-treating there. They can't hear me over Lisa.
Really? Yeah, they can.
Yeah, there were kids trick-or-treating all over the place, and it was so funny. Fraser was pointing out all the, like, sad pumpkins and sad ghosts, like, all the kids cry.
I love watching kids, man. It's so interesting watching them just, like, go about these memories that are gonna, like, be so strong and vivid in their heads, like, of this time they were trick-or-treating on the streets, like...
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of puke stories, when I was probably... This is Miss Fable, again. When I was probably 7 or 8, I had the stomach flu and my mom made me chicken noodle soup for lunch.
Aw, Mama.
After eating and taking a nap, I was woken by the feeling of needing to throw up, so I ran to the bathroom and puked in the tub for some reason. After I was done, I started crying, saying I can't eat anything ever again, and just took a nap on the floor in the bathroom. I was pretty emotional and dramatic as a kid.
Oh my god. That's really cute.
Akira Okami says, when my sister was around 4 to 5 years old, she demanded that I go to her first haunted house attraction. She did fairly well most of the time until we got to one of those circle tunnel illusion parts. I don't know what that is.
Is it where something's spinning?
Is that it?
Walking through?
She became completely terrified and wouldn't even listen to our father. I ended up having to carry her through the whole thing, holding a hand over her eyes the entire time. Immediately after, the attraction was a beheading attraction, which didn't faze her whatsoever.
Wow.
Spinning tunnel thing. Yeah, I don't know any of that. I don't know what that is. You walk through a
rotating cylinder. Yeah, it's
and it
like...
fucks with your balance, and that scared her, but decapitation didn't?
Yep, apparently.
It looks like you really cared for your sister a lot as a kid. Look at this picture.
Aww.
Is that like your life's work,
so
taking care of your
cute.
sister?
Oh, fuck.
Jimbo JJ26 says, one time me and my family were eating a buffet. I was really excited about getting dessert that day, and I was eyeing up the ice cream machine the whole time. I had to pee, but figured I could hold it. Well, while in line for ice cream, I couldn't hold it anymore, and I peed myself. on the way to the bathroom. Afterwards, my parents grabbed my hand and left embarrassed.
Aww.
What made it even worse is the name of the buffet was the Golden Corral, and my little brother loved to tease me about it for a long time afterwards. I peed myself at the Golden Corral.
That is kind of funny though. I love the Golden Corral. Fraser doesn't love it.
I didn't mind it.
Oh, maybe you
liked
didn't like it as much as I did. Because I'm always like, I loved it! But it's
was
because
good.
I hadn't been to a buffet in so long.
It was good.
Yeah.
It's
They
just
had
that
like
it's like
roast beef. Oh, you thought it was a bit more expensive than it
a bit
should
more
have been.
expensive than I expected for American buffet. I thought America, especially it was lunch hours. I thought it was going to be cheaper. It was like $15 or $17 American, and they had some
pretty
good meat, like some prime rib and shit.
Yeah.
But they were stingy.
Yeah,
They would only
kinda
give you
were.
one little slice every time you came up, and it felt like you couldn't get more than one. Like, I think I asked him on my second time up, being like, give me another one. And he did, but it was like not there. Like, they didn't want to encourage you stocking up on the prime rib.
Right.
They wanted you to get bothered by the whole process of it. That annoyed me. I was like, this is America. This is America. Mm-hmm. Give me that meat.
You think Golden Corral is the grossest? I have a buddy who is a corporate health inspector for a bunch of restaurants, and he said that it was way worse than anybody else, any other place. I think that it's based on location, though, right? Like, not all Golden Corrals
For a
would be
bunch
the same.
of restaurants, though.
Oh, shit.
Nothing But Smiles says. It's a pretty cool icon, too, for Nothing But Smiles.
Ooh.
One Halloween, my dad decided scaring kids trick-or-treating. He tried hiding under a sleeping bag on an obvious chair and drop a mask attached to a string.
Look at that guy down here.
Oh, he has the two. That's funny. And drop a mask attached to a string. It didn't work well, and I saw kids outright throw stones at him. Jesus,
What?
fuck. Next year, my brother and my brother's friends decided on ramping things up. They hid a concrete vibrator with plywood. Vibrators should be made of plastic. With plywood over it, under a bunch of leaves. Becky thinks that's hilarious.
And you don't like that I think it's hilarious.
I don't care.
You construct better jokes than that.
Becky laughs at the lamest shit I say.
Yeah.
Hide under a bunch of leaves that you didn't know you had to walk on to get to the metal candy bowl that was visibly attached to what appeared to be a car battery. When kids took the candy, it would turn on, shaking the ground they were standing on, and he would turn on a strobe light just in case that wasn't enough. This was the cue for my brother's friend to jump out of a nearby pile of leaves covered in fake blood. Another would come out of the garage with a chainsaw, and my brother would cut them off from his hiding place in the front yard with the other chainsaw. A group of scared kids trying to act tough by yelling at them from the street ended up prompting my brother to follow them down the road for a while, chainsaw in hand. They did this while I was trick-or-treating with my mom and always wanted to participate, but I was told I was too young and I had no candy, and it would mean no candy. By the time I was old enough to participate, we had stopped doing it, so I never got to participate.
Aww.
Though even 20 years later, my parents' house is still called the Scary House.
That sucks, man.
You never got to be scary.
Yeah, dude.
FOMO
That's shitty.
for life. Super Neon Man guy says, oh no.
What?
This just blacked out. I'm gonna need the battery bar
Okay, should we...
and a charging cable. So we'll take a break after you finish defeating the goat leg.
Easy.
Good
Kantan.
job. Kantan desu ne? All right. We'll be back.
Wait, let me just do this. Because it might be the end. It is the end.
You beat the game?
Well, one of the endings.
What does that mean?
What is it?
I need to. Oh, we're gonna have to bring up game theory to find out what that meant. What is that? What was Ed McMillan
What does it all
intending
mean,
there?
I wonder?
That it turns out that Binding of Isaac is actually Rosalina's father in the Mario series, but that's just a theory, a game theory. Fuck. Welcome back, Lisa Head down there.
Spooky head in the chat.
Um,
Hi, Toto.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
Do you guys think that
Come here.
Becky's been playing good? Is she good?
They haven't even been paying attention to me. It's all about the stories, man.
It's her favorite game
It is the only game.
that she plays.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Come here.
Oh,
Come here. She's the worst, Chris. I hate her. God.
it's like a periscope tail.
Did you know that my nephew's name is Isaac? And this is my favorite game? And whenever he gets yelled at, which he never gets yelled at, but I picture the mom's voice. Isaac!
All right, get back in it.
Okay, wait. She's gonna choose some chords. We don't have a thinger to make apple slices.
Don't.
I'm good with a knife. Is Isaac my favorite nephew? Don't lie.
Coming up. She's coming up. Here she goes.
That's what she wants you to think. She's not actually gonna do it.
All right.
No, Isaac isn't my favorite nephew. I don't have a favorite nephew. They're all the best. But my favorite niece is Ellie. She's my goddaughter. I have to say that.
Super Neon Man guy put a new thing in here. There you go.
Hey, Toto.
Different story, not the long one I wrote and deleted earlier. All right. I was 9 years old, and for the first time I was allowed to get the bus to our local shopping center by myself. Wow.
Nice.
I was given £15 to spend. 3 or 4 hours into my mission to search for every store I saw my grandmother. My brain reviewed the situation and said, yeah, she lives nearby. That makes sense, that's her. I ran up and hugged her, shouting, Nan, Grandma. It wasn't her. It took me a good 5 seconds of hug to notice this. The poor old lady looked extremely confused. I was so embarrassed I just ran away. The instant I left, I speed walked into the next building and escaped the situation.
Was it a bra store? And that's where your real grandma was, trying on pantyhose?
Next thing I know, where you pause just to deal with her?
Yeah.
With a video game show, we gotta give him some video games.
But we have a cat in childhood stories. And a pause screen.
Next thing I know, I'm on the floor outside, a woman leaning over me. My arm hurt. I was so confused. All I heard was, oh God, oh God, oh God. I only figured out what had happened years later when I reviewed my memory. I had walked into a very adult store where some kind of event was going on, and the woman had seen me coming inside, and to protect my innocent eyes, she just ran at me, picked me up, and threw me back out the door with Olympic skill. Apparently I went flying. I felt fine, other than the not my grandma hug, but the poor woman who was trying to protect my innocent eyes seemed pretty traumatized.
Oh my God. Huh. Do I go for the card?
Did you at least get to see anything in the very adult store?
Yeah.
Oh man, Novastar has the best fucking icon. The Turbo Buddy Isaac on the
Oh
side.
my God, that's so good.
Who did that Turbo Buddy? Was that Double Finger?
Probably Novastar.
Oh yeah, fucking Novastar. Novastar makes those.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't put that connection
Wait, did
together.
we thank our sponsors?
Let's bring our sponsors in. These couple motherfucks right here.
Novastar.
Laud 83. Objection!
He's like the same year as us then.
And Prepaid Pie.
He loves you guys.
And he loves you guys, yeah.
And thanks to us and stuff.
Thank you to our sponsors
Thank
today.
you.
All right. Nova Star says, didn't happen to me, but it was a hilarious one nonetheless. I was hanging out with my friend. Might have been a sleepover, and my mom had just dropped me off, sister in tow. We had been playing in his backyard while the parents talked for what seemed like a while, and it was
parents talking.
time for my mom to leave with my sister. She just drove off and left. We didn't know about it until 10 minutes when she showed up back at the house, panicked.
They forgot the sister.
Yeah. Apparently, she thought that my sister had been in the back seat the whole time and had been talking to no one for the entirety of the car ride, asking what she wanted for dinner and everything.
Damn. It's hard, man.
It's not that hard.
How do you know that you have your kids?
I don't know.
You don't sometimes.
Davo46 says, when I was about 8 years old, we moved a lot. My dad was in the army. We were staying at a hotel, and on the 6th floor, I was coming back up to the pool from the pool in the elevator with my brother, who was 5 at the time. I pressed the 4th floor button, forgetting that we were staying on the 6th, and the doors opened, I remember, and hit the 6th floor button. Unfortunately, my brother walked out of the elevator, and just as the doors closed, I reached out and yelled, "Michael!" When I got to the 6th floor, I ran to the hotel room where my dad was watching TV, and in a panic, I told him that I'd lost Michael. His only response was to lazily look over and say, just go find him. I went down to the 4th floor and found the poor boy, sucking his thumb, knocking on random doors, looking for our room. For many years after this, he had a fear of elevators.
Oh.
Michael!
Oh my god.
That's actually kind of crazy, though, that you an 8-year-old was, how old was the other kid?
8 and 4?
Brother was 5.
5.
You were able to go to a pool alone.
So go find him.
I'm assuming it was supervised.
I literally
Cool.
have nightmares about that. Like, losing somebody in an elevator. Like, it's the most traumatizing thing to ever possibly happen.
Why?
It's never happened to me. But it's like, so, yeah, you find them. It's okay, it'll be fine.
Dave46 also did this one. Here's one that may be a bit more traumatizing for me. When I was in the 1st grade, we had show and tell, and it was super exciting. And to show everyone my teddy bear, which was sitting in my book bag in the box, and the rest of the show and tell. The show and tell went off without a hitch. When I got home, my mom was emptying a book bag and found a little magnifying glass. From one of my classmates' ant farm. She asked about it and said it must have fallen into my bag. I took it back the next day, and the kid said, "Hey, your magnifying glass fell into my book bag yesterday." He said thank you and went to class. And I walked into class, my neighbor's daughter, also in my class. That's a weird way to write that. You're a kid, and you refer to the girl who lives next door as your neighbor's daughter? No, she is your neighbor. Kid. Oh, hello, Mary, my neighbor's daughter. Like, what the fuck? It's like, fuck you, Davo. I'm your neighbor. Anyways. So when I walked into my neighbor's daughter, also in my class, was talking to the teacher saying that she overheard me and that I had stolen a magnifying glass from the show and tell box.
Aww.
Being in the 1st grade, I wasn't able to articulate well enough the mistake and told my old cunt of a 1st grade teacher, and my old cunt, witch of a 1st grade teacher, yelled at me in front of everyone and made me apologize to the class. The kid and then sent me, apologize to the class, the kid, and then sent me to the principal's office to get yelled at again.
God
When
damn
my mother
it.
found out, she flipped her shit, marched down to the school, and screamed at my teacher and the principal. To this day.
Good. Good,
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah. Like, when I'm a
Jesus.
parent, I'm going to have a secret desire to one day just lace into a teacher
Like
who
your dad
oversteps
did?
their bounds. Yeah, my dad, yeah. Anyways, when my mother found out, she flipped her shit, marched down to the school, and screamed at my teacher and the principal. To this day, I remember this event as the first time I was punished for doing the right thing. However, I do remember my mom sticking up for me. That's good.
Yeah.
And yet, those teachers and that principal probably go off and tell people a story of this crazy woman who went went overboard because they got her kid in trouble for stealing
Yeah.
or something like that. Like,
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
have to, like, no offense to you teachers in there, you guys will probably agree. People who go into the teaching profession are more often than not maladjusted, like dysfunctional adults. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you guys are. I'm just saying that there are a lot of them. I feel like.
Or they had, I don't know, I think that some people had like some shitty experiences in school and they don't want other kids to have those shitty experiences.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there's also a lot of fucked up teachers. They seem predisposed to be drama queens and like to take things way too seriously.
Oh, that I could agree with.
That's just how it feels like. It feels like teachers are stuck in this vortex mind space that this is everything. This is the law, what happens here, and stuff like that.
Can I tell a story?
Yep.
So, my niece went through a period where she would, when she was younger, probably like 8, she went through a period where she'd combine words. I don't know if I've said this on the story before. So, like, if you're going to, like, she'd say, like, come for supper or something, it would be like, copper, copper, come for supper. And it was like this cute thing. And so, at this, I don't know, they were at my mom's or something, and they were looking for my sister's partner, Kathy. And so she said that she wanted to go on a Kathy hunt, and she was like, cunt, cunt, like
Who
yelling
combines
out.
the words?
My niece was combining
Okay,
words.
which niece?
The K one.
What does it matter if we hear the
Well,
name
because
of the niece?
I
Okay.
have them on.
Oh,
social media
okay,
and stuff.
all right.
Yeah, so she was like running around yelling cunt because she
Cunt.
was going on a Kathy hunt. And then my family was like, shit, do we tell her what cunt is? They were just like, you can't run around yelling cunt. You just can't. Sorry, kid.
Yeah, way to like ruin a kid's imagination. And that's why to this day she has no imagination.
Oh, yeah.
Acid Silver says, when I was in elementary school, my teacher had us write about our most memorable experience. Being a kid, obviously, I wrote about the time I went to Disneyland with my family. Turns out another kid who sat next to me wrote about Disneyland, which led to the teacher thinking we copied each other.
What?
Considering neither of us copied each other and I decided to take one for the team and say I just copied him so he wouldn't get in trouble. In return, the teacher gave me detention for a few days. I never thought an adult could be in the wrong, so I never disputed it, and for all these years I'm still pissed off. Fuck you, Miss Johnson.
Holy shit.
That's just another example of like, seriously.
I never thought of...
Bitch, it's a goddamn, you're writing
Do you know
down.
how many kids go to Disney?
Yeah, it doesn't matter about the logic and like the chances.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's a fucking assignment where you write. If some kid wants to copy that day, what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
Like, take it easy on yourself. Take a break, lady. You're really gonna like take these two kids aside and like do this as a project to like punish them?
Well,
Wait till they cheat on a math quiz or on a fucking spelling quiz or some bullshit.
Oops.
It's just teachers are so fucking serious. And hey, there's great teachers out there. I had lots of teachers I really liked. But some of them, man, Jesus. And you know that some teachers want to just say shit about other teachers in front of kids. Be like,
oh yeah.
you know the cool,
Especially
like some
in
of the
high
good ones are just
school.
like,
whenever you get to high school and they just kind of are like...
They just bite their lip. They're just not going to say anything. You know, you can tell some
Yep.
teachers really hate other teachers. They're like, they want to agree with you, but they just don't say a word because they can't.
Especially in high school.
Especially in high school, yeah. My cool teacher did say stuff. Well, your cool teacher might end up the way of that one who loses his job in
Oh, shit.
it was the cool teacher in American Vandal.
Snap.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Such a good series. Anyways, Skittle E says I
The
won't.
first one. We haven't seen the second one.
Yeah. Skittle E says I won't be able to make it to the show today, but I have a story so I can get my narcissistic fill catching up later. One day, and I was 4 or 5, my parents heard screaming about me screaming absolute bloody murder. They ran into my bedroom and searched everywhere, couldn't find me. Right before they called the cops, my mom saw a couple of fingers sticking out from under the bed. Turns out I had had a night terror, rolled into the tiny gap under the bed without waking up, then fell silent again just in time for my parents to come bursting in the door so they couldn't use the sound to find me. I continued to have screaming fits like that until I turned 8, which sucked because for everyone in the house. Spooky for them, at least.
Oh my god, that sucks.
That sucks.
Better pills, guys. Better pills. Sure, let's reusable pill generator. What do we got? Oops, excuse me.
One of my professors talked about how the student of theirs had sent a paper that they bought from a term paper mill. They knew this because the student put the website on their works cited.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's great. Oh, that's so good.
Wow.
That is so good.
The shit teachers must, like, the stories they have.
Oh, man.
And the shit kids probably try to get away with.
Good lord. Anyways.
I have cousins who work as teachers, and they are very good teachers, by the way.
I bet you there's people out there with stories about them. No.
Kristen
kidding.
works with bad kids, though.
Yeah, that's true.
She does good work.
Lionheart says, not a story for
thought he was
me,
dead.
but rather a friend of mine. When we were kids, like 7 or 8, my mom took us out to a park to feed some ducks. And geese, being assholes, decided to bite my friend, and of all places, he got bit in the dick. That's the first place they go.
Fuck!
It's one of those stories that every so often he'll bring up, and since then, he's always been wary around geese, namely Canadian geese,
Yeah.
since that was the type that bit him.
That sucks.
Quackwalk says, not about myself, but this always stuck in my mind. My aunt's a photographer and did a shoot for a baseball team. And she looked down the list of kids and she noticed one of the kids' names stuck out. Someone named their kid Regret. That's fucked. Oh shit.
Whoa.
The kid's name is Regret.
Whoa,
That's
dude.
weird.
Fuck.
That's a weird name to give your kid. Grabble says, I used to suck my thumb when I was a child, but my right thumb unfortunately got bit by a dog and I had to bandage on it for a couple weeks. I refused to suck my left thumb out of this weird sense of obligation to my right one. What?
Gotcha.
That's what ended up weaning me off of it for life. Thanks, mean dog.
Sense of obligation.
Like this, that's weird.
That's good shit.
That's gonna translate to a sex thing later in life. All right, like you don't want to cheat on your right hand. Growing up in my family,
was Grabbles? Grabble's a girl.
so. Growing up, my family never really celebrated Christmas, so when I was jealous of my friends,
Aw,
whenever
that
they
sucks.
talked about Christmas presents. After a lot of begging I finally convinced my parents to celebrate Christmas when I was 8, complete with a tree and everything. Turns out that my parents bought my present alongside the tree, which led to me finding my Christmas present. My first ever actual Christmas ended up being the one where I learned Santa isn't real.
Oh, shit. That is rough.
Dude, why didn't they celebrate? Were you guys Jewish? Or were you just like,
One of those
where your parents were
families?
just like non-fun
Oh, shit.
having types?
One of those non-fun families.
Muslim. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's too bad.
There was a...
You know, like, that sucks. It has nothing to do with Christ anymore. Just celebrate it.
No.
It's fucking fun.
Yeah, we had one of those guys in Fraser's school who didn't celebrate Christmas. They would just
They were atheists.
They were atheists.
Yeah, their only religion was just not believing in God.
Yeah.
And like, so that means like this militant aversion to like our anthem and to Christmas.
Yeah.
And that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
What a joyless life.
But they would still, even then, they would get Christmas. They would do it on, like, oh, fuck. They would do it on New Year's Eve. And their parents would buy stuff, like, super cheap on Boxing Day.
Oh, I was thinking of not that person. There's
Oh,
another
really?
one.
Oh.
Yeah. Their last name was, his first name was Lindsay.
Oh,
His
yeah.
name, yeah. They didn't get to celebrate
Right,
any
I
of
remember that, too.
Yeah.
Well, what you said still.
Yeah, it's like, come on,
Okay.
just have some goddamn fun. It's fucking Christmas. It's just
Yeah.
present day. It has nothing to do with God.
Yeah, like on
Nobody
Animal
cares
Crossing,
anymore.
Present day.
All right.
Well, a lot of people do, but...
Anyways, Flashpoint says,
Shit!
so a childhood story. I remember the only time our house was robbed was scary as hell for a 9-year-old waking up in our house knowing that someone had just been in the house and it's not my parents. Luckily, the robbers already were gone. What's scary was that only 2 nights earlier, while sitting on the top of the stairs, I could see into the living room and the back sliding door. I think it was so creeped out by what I saw that I couldn't believe it at first. What I saw was a tall, long-haired, skinny guy with a cap peering into the living room with 2 hands on the glass. I'm sure this was one of the guys that robbed the house.
Dude, that is scary.
2 days earlier, looking back, and the back door was used to break in. At 9 years old, I tried to mention to my parents while the cops were getting their fingerprints and all, but it was ignored with all the chaos. Who's going to listen to a kid, I guess? Happily, we were given my amazing childhood German Shepherd after this happened. Now I only... Oh, so you got a German Shepherd because of the robbers. That's great, I guess. Now I only mentioned it again to my mom recently in this past Thanksgiving. She said, wait, why didn't you say something back then? I said, I did, Mom. Why did you think I didn't sleep right for months afterwards? Wishing that I could say that in the best Ben Dad voice, though. Oh, she said, well, shit happens. And we cracked up, poured more wine. Great.
Fuck.
We can have a good laugh about it so many years later, but I vividly remember that night and the guy peering in from outside. That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, dude, that is
man.
scary shit. That is like
I'm basically just
nightmare
picturing,
material.
when you said skinny with long hair, I'm just picturing Bob from Twin Peaks. You only need to Google that to see that. To see what I mean. Bob Twin Peaks. Jimbo J. Oh, wait. Okay. Acid Silver has another one here. When I was in middle school, I had a crush on a girl being an awkward preteen, had the bright idea to write a poem to her. When I walked up to say the poem to her, she tried telling me something, and I interpreted that as... But I interrupted her.
Oops,
Okay. And proceeded to sing this really shit poem that I thought was the next wonder of the world. Once I finished, I waited to see what she'd say. It turns out the thing she was going to say before I interrupted her was that she wasn't interested in me. So she knew it was coming.
No.
She knew it was coming.
That's so sad. Shit. Okay, good. I didn't want Chris to die shot anyway.
Wow, she's happy today. That's a happy kitty.
Happy Halloween.
In first grade or so, see, kitties love monotone droning voice. Like this is their jam.
Yeah,
Being able to
man.
be in the presence of just nonstop talking. They like it. Without yelling though, that's different.
Yeah.
Jimbo JJ26 says, in first grade or so, my computer teacher told our class, in an attempt to get us to handle floppy disks properly, that if we touched the metal part with our bare fingers, that our fingers would fall off.
God damn it,
First
teachers.
grade. I believed this far
Of course
longer
you
than was
would.
probably reasonable, till middle school, before I realized just how stupid that was.
Yeah, but they tell you shit like that. Ah, so torn.
What is wrong with touching the metal? There's nothing even wrong with touching that.
Really?
Maybe sliding it back and then touching the insides
I thought
is bad.
there was some
You
bad
can touch the fucking metal.
shit on it. Oh, I always thought it was bad to touch it too.
No, you just shouldn't slide it open and touch the little flimsy plastic part inside. Kulmara says, here's a really traumatizing one if you have time.
Oh God.
My
Uh-oh.
parents had a vegetable garden. They would always give me...
Spooky! Enough! Sorry.
You trying to scare away the kitty?
Yeah, sorry, Lisa.
They would always give me chores to do in the garden, and one time my dad taught me how to dig and asked me to dig a hole for the flower bed. I was digging with this big sharp shovel when I heard a loud pop and felt it in the shovel's handle. I knew I squished something with my shovel, and terrified I looked down. I saw a frog that had basically exploded from the shovel.
Oh.
I cried and buried the frog immediately, put some flowers where I'd killed it.
Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute.
I felt so awful and begged my mom to buy a frog from a pet store so that I could take care of it to repay the world for killing the little frog.
Oh my God, shut up. That is the cutest.
She never let me do it, but she got me a plush frog and that I still have. To this day, I remember that awful pop and the squishy feeling I felt through the handle of the shovel. I'm sorry, frog.
Oh.
Then your dad came out and said, where's my hole? That's amazing.
To repay the world.
Manitsu says, when I was a kid, I was really afraid of Santa Claus. Like, really scared. I had to make my parents promise every year that Santa would come while we were sleeping and not during the evening. So I didn't have to meet him.
Oh my
So
God.
one day, so you still wanted to benefit from the presents, but you didn't want to see this guy. So one day when we were going to the grocery store, I didn't really want to come with my parents since there'd be a chance that the mall Santa would be there. But my parents promised he wouldn't be there. I'm sure you know where this is going. When we get the groceries, everything's fine, no Santa in sight. But as we're about to leave, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around and there he is, standing tall and menacing and offering me a piece of candy. Of course, I start screaming and crying loudest I can. The best of all, I just look at the candy and I took the candy and just threw it away. I kind of feel bad for this guy who just wanted to be nice, but fuck him. Also, Christmas related, when I found out the Santa isn't real, I started crying. Not because he wasn't real, but because I'd learned that my parents were spending so much money to buy me and my brother presents.
Aww.
I feel for you there. I had such a trauma as a kid, like worrying about how much money my parents were spending. I don't know why. I just got like obsessed with I knew that money was tight in our family, so I just got obsessed with the idea of like them being able to make ends meet and get by.
It's so sad, and I'm sure they didn't put that on you.
No, they didn't. No, but I just had it. You overhear things as a kid. You know money's tight.
Yeah.
Like you want to like help out. You feel like it's part of your duty as well.
Aw.
How old was this? It just says when I was a kid. Good story though. Traumatized by Santa. This is a pretty short one because I can't remember too many details. When I was 13 years old, I went trick-or-treating with me and a group of other girls my age. There were about 6 of us, and we were alone because we were finally old enough. It was all over, a normal night, But a few times throughout the night, this grown man who was trick-or-treating with another guy kept interacting with us and following us to a few different houses. I think he may have been drunk and tried to tell us he was our pimp. Like, haha, I'm your pimp. My friends and I pretty much brushed this off, but discussed how creepy it was later. I would have been less creepy if it was just another teen boy, but this guy was a totally grown man talking to us like that.
That's
when they're
fucked
13.
up. That's fucked up.
Yeah, this is the world we live in.
And shit like that, I don't know, it's so weird because it happens and you're like, yeah, that happened, whatever. But that's pretty fucked up.
That's an ad for pepper spray. Theron Editing says, this is literally my first post here, hope it's up to standard. The Noise, that's the title of this story. 11 years ago, I invited my friend over to the game and hang out for a weekend, Saturday, Sunday. It was dark, warm night, which is important later. We were sleeping in the shed/rumpus room that we had outside, made of metal and such. We played Halo 3 for hours and eventually got tired around 2 or 3 a.m. We decided to go to sleep. After a few minutes, we heard knocking noise. We couldn't work out what it was, but we were quickly freaked out and were quietly screaming about it at each other. Like, what the heck is that? He would loudly whisper. We eventually got the courage to go investigate and searched around the shed. We found nothing, went back inside and could hear the noise again. We ended up going to see what it was in the morning and realized that the keys I'd hung up on the shed were banging into the wall. We left a fan on to keep us cool. We laughed about it. I don't know if we post other stories, but I got an injury one, if not ignore. 2014, a holiday with a friend. I thought I was God. We had gone away to our holiday beach house, myself and me mates. We were having a great night of drinks and games, Cards Against Humanity and Pokemon, and some other unnameable substances. Canada is lucky, in brackets. Around 1 a.m., I was apparently stalking the house with a bottle of vodka, which is proceeded to take outside, chug it, and ended up smashing it against a light pole and shouting, I'm unstoppable. My hand needed 4 stitches after this because the bottle shattered into my hand. I wasn't unstoppable.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You
You
dummy.
certainly are not, you idiot. K16 says, when I was in grade 4, we had multiple cultural potluck lunch. My family thought it would be
fun.
clever to put a pineapple fried rice dish into an emptied pineapple. Okay.
Yummy.
When we brought it to class, my
Why didn't
teacher
you
was
do this?
screaming in an absolute rage about how stupid I have become for bringing a pineapple and immediately received attention? What?
Was someone allergic to pineapple?
I tried to explain, but her screaming was enough to fill me with anxiety, putting me into tears, and she discovered that the rice inside. After she discovered the rice inside, she screamed, "Why are you so stupid not telling us while I was lecturing you?" 15 minutes after school. So yeah, I got detention. I also pooped myself, which, if that's a requirement for our submissions. She saw that you just brought a pineapple and was like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? This is supposed to be a meal." And then when she realized that it was a meal inside the pineapple, she got even angrier that she looked stupid for yelling at you.
What the fuck?
What a fucking fucked up cunt.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's why I said I don't even need to fight this. That's okay.
I only brought a pineapple instead of an actual dish, and that's what pissed her off. Oh my
Oh,
god. Oh my
Jesus.
fucking god, man.
Did you refresh?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay.
Fucking.
I'm going back
God.
to regular. Greed mode. Greed mode's okay.
I can't believe you shit yourself after that, though. Double Finger says, really short one. When I was very young and I was an obnoxious little shit during Christmas, my brothers would threaten that if I didn't quiet down, Santa Claus, or the Christmas man, as we call him in Germany, would come back to our house and take my presents away. Apparently that was what shut me up real quick. That'll do it. Smart brothers. Sarkin says, Grabble's thumb-sucking story reminded me of another one. I also sucked my thumb when I was a kid. I like this group therapy. I did so until the first day of kindergarten. I had a crush on a girl in my class and admitted that I still
On
sucked.
first day? Nice.
Yeah. I had a crush on a girl in my class, and I admitted that I still sucked my thumb while we were in a line to go out to recess near the end of the day.
Yeah, I suck my thumb.
The girl told me that she also sucked her thumb, And then she would also drink from a baby bottle sometimes, so it was okay. Wow, you guys are really mature. Like, you're airing your, like, you know,
Yeah.
you're just being like, you know, let's get it all out there. If we're gonna have a relationship, we want to. Like, where are you in your adolescent development? Like, I immediately. Are you ready for kids? I immediately thought
chick.
she was a total weirdo and stopped talking to her and never sucked my thumb after that. Aw, she opened up and you shut her down.
Well, that's weird shit, though.
In hindsight, it seems that there's a good chance that she was just lying to comfort me because I was obviously embarrassed. I don't feel great about having stonewalled her like that afterwards. Yeah, that's I would feel pretty bad about that, I think.
When I was little, I would only suck my thumb when I was around my cousin, who's a year older than me, because she sucked her thumb, and I thought it was like she was the coolest thing in the world. So I wanted to be like her, so I'd suck my thumb.
But you were dead wrong. She's not cool at all.
She's the best.
When I was a kid, this is Acid Silver. When I was a kid, I used to be deathly afraid of public toilets because of the loud noises they made whenever they flushed. To avoid the sound, I always got as far away from the toilet as I could before flushing. Yeah, this is sounding good. And I once
I'm saying like.
Oh.
Yeah, that's terrifying. You always run away from the toilet.
Okay. This sounds like a perfect setup. Before flushing it, and once I flushed it, I would run out of the bathroom like a maniac.
Yep.
One of those times, I ended up running towards the door.
Also because killers are coming after you in the bathroom. Continue.
One of those times, I ended up running towards the door as someone came in, which resulted in me getting the door slammed in my face since I wasn't expecting to open the door. The guy who slammed the door in my face tried to apologize and help me, but I just got up and ran out completely devoid of emotion. I was so stunned by what had happened.
Aww.
I was hoping this would go somewhere even better, like the door slammed me back into the toilet and like, you know, running from poop.
Just like Rudiger does.
Looks like there's only one more in our thread today, which is just as well. It's reaching 3 a.m.
No, I want to keep playing, Fraser.
Double Finger says, this didn't quite traumatize me, but Frank Katsuppi's story reminded me of how fucked up this was. So I was 14 and didn't think of it. I think in going through the toys department at a department store on my own, suddenly this Ned Flanders looking guy comes up to me and asks if I wanted to help him out at his office or if I had any friends who could. He also offered to pay for it. I was just like, no, and walked away. Looking back on it later, I'm kind of mad I didn't report to anyone that a grown-ass man was stalking around the little toys department asking kids to help at his office. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that is...
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up right there.
Pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one just appeared.
Hi.
My DSKTY says, my dad's deathly afraid of snakes. So much, he can't even look at one. Ever since when I was a little kid, if a snake appeared anywhere near our house, he would tell me to get rid of it, since I wasn't scared of them, or else he'd kill it. It always made me kind of sad, so I got really good at picking up the non-venomous snakes that live in our area because I didn't want them to meet a more grisly fate. I'm still our family's designated snake wrangler.
Aw, good for you. I'm kind of scared of snakes.
Jesus, another 2 just appeared. Bundro says, I was shy as a little kid and did some awkward stuff. One time the neighbors had people over for a barbecue, and for some reason I took one of the lawn chairs and put it facing them and sat watching them.
Aww.
I guess to feel like I was at the party with them. So they had a 5-year-old kid looking over the hedges separating the 2 yards, staring at them until my mom came out and asked what I was doing, and then I had to move.
Aww. Kids do weird shit. Oh, fuck.
Star Kitsune says, another thumb-sucking story, I know, but now I'm reminded by the time I was a kid, I had a thumb chewing problem. Oh my god, I wouldn't chew on it all the time. I would chew on it all the time. One time, oh, it's giving me the heebie-jeebies. But one time, we had to drive 9 hours to visit my grandparents and myself in the back seat. I chewed on it the entire time we drove. When we made it, my mom looked back at my thumb and immediately took me to the hospital. Turns out I'd managed to chew all the way to the bone of my thumb.
This stuff gets crazy.
I had to go to the ER.
Are you getting that, like, feeling?
I never knew it was, no. It's only when I think about myself that I get that feeling. But that's just fucked up, man. That's fucking weird.
Oh my god.
What the fuck? Like, the kid didn't feel any pain?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh. Anyways.
That's just uncomfortable.
Neon Man guy says, when I was 7 or 8, some kind of critter found its way into the bedroom somehow. I noticed it first because it was trying to go to sleep, but it kept on hearing it scratching on the other side of the room. I couldn't locate it, but I woke up my mother to tell her that there was something in my room. She told me to go back to sleep. I figured she must be right, so I tried to go back to sleep, only to be woken up again by the sound, closer this time. I leaned and hit the light switch only to see this thing sitting on my lap. It was a gross-looking rat.
Oh, sick!
I screamed. My mother was in the bedroom within the next 3 seconds. It was like she had teleported. We spent the next 3 or 4 hours trying to trap the thing under ice cream tubs since I refused to let her kill it. When we finally got it, we put it in a plastic box and in the back of the garden and went back to sleep. The top of the box was 2 interlocking panels. We planned to let it go somewhere in the morning. In the morning, my brother woke up and didn't believe me that I told him what had happened. I looked for in the garden to show him. The rat thing immediately tried to jump out. So I slammed the lid shut. I decapitated it.
Oh my god.
I decapitated the thing that we had spent hours trying to save. Its head hit me in the face.
Oh
What?
my god.
And I screamed again.
Yeah?
And then
Holy
I pooped
shit.
myself. What the fuck?
Oh my god. That's insane.
How did the head... Alright, that's the last one. I refreshed one more time. There's nothing else there, but oh my god, guys. That's pretty fucked up. Gross looking rat. I wonder if it was like wet or something, like scraggly.
Prepaid just posted one, and he's a sponsor.
No, he is a sponsor, so you get one more, and it's from one of our sponsors. But that resulted in 3 bubbling up. God damn it. I must have been around 6 years old, says Prepaid Pie, when there was a town festival with certain activities you could take part in. One of those activities was to carve a boat out of tree bark and race them against other bark boats.
Whoa, cool.
You Scandinavians are nuts, man.
You guys do
are
some fun
crazy.
shit.
My mom told me to wait a minute because she had to help my sister with something. I got impatient and decided to start myself. I immediately cut my thumb and blood got everywhere. I still have the scar.
Aww.
After that, I was afraid to use a knife for a long time. But that's like all you guys do. You're just always like
man.
hunting caribou with knives. But I was 10 or 11 and I wanted to give it a go again. As soon as I removed the carving knife from the sheath, I cut myself again.
Oh, shut up!
You
Oh my
fucking-
god.
You derp.
Dude.
It wasn't as bad at that time, but I still can't go near a knife without someone in my family jokingly saying that I have to be careful.
Uh-huh.
What do you do? Like, don't you have to like use a knife when you like that special finished knife? Isn't that something that everybody has to like have with them and like
Like, they basically just always have.
rite of passage
Yeah.
going to the woods with it and shit?
Oh, God.
Neonte says we used to go to the San Antonio Zoo a lot when I was a kid, and one year we
San
went
Antonio.
to an event and they were doing to celebrate the arrival of Komodo dragons. There were burgers and origami animals and everything.
Nice.
It's funny, those 2 things and everything. When we got to the hippos, I accidentally dropped my origami fish. And when the hippo yawned, it fell in the hippo's mouth. That sounds like the coolest thing that could ever happen. Holy fuck. Fine, obviously, but Another month later, probably, there was a story about one of the hippos dying. I thought I'd killed it.
Oh.
I felt terrible about it any time I remembered, until I finally realized, of course, I didn't kill it. It took a lot longer than it should have to realize that. All because of an origami fish. The hippo died. Here's a short one. During my 10th birthday, I was having a time of my life with friends and cake and the whole shebang. I love this, like, friends, cake, everything. Yeah, well, was there origami animals?
Bet there wasn't.
I bet there wasn't.
So
was there
much
hippos
there
and Komodo dragons? I don't think the whole shebang was there. Anyways, while I was playing Mario Kart with my friends, I suddenly felt some super rumbling in my stomach, and I felt a fart coming out. Oh no. I thought it would be hilarious as a gross joke if I farted in the middle of the room and let it loose, only to feel sudden extra weight in my pants.
Shit.
I shit myself. I got up and told my dad that I wanted to cancel the party because I shit my pants. Thankfully, none of my friends ever found out.
Aww.
Will they not have olfactories? Like, how did they not notice?
Maybe they had a younger sibling and they're just like, well, it always smells like poop. Just kid around.
Sarkin says that, I don't know how old I was, but as a kid during that Detroit Darkers playing at Tiger Stadium before it was replaced by Comerica Park. My dad worked for a cable company that had a sponsorship deal with the Tigers, so he was able to bring my brother and I to one of the last games at the old stadium. It was the first time going to the baseball game, and I was really excited. It turns out that they had a corporate box reserved, and there was all sorts of food and drinks there. Everything. Everyone else was just hanging out or in the suite, but took a lot of pride in being the only one out on the balcony to watch the game. I was so obsessed with Diet Pepsi at the time that I drank about a dozen cans of it out there. And it was really cold and windy, and the cold drinks didn't help. My dad came out to find me in the 9th inning. He said my face was just covered in frozen snot.
Aww.
I'm super OCD, and I even was back then, so it blows my mind that I didn't notice. I'm guessing I just had no sensation in my face at that point.
Oh my god.
Hey, if you like baseball, you like baseball,
Yeah, man.
True baseball fan right there. All right. That's it. How far are you?
I mean, this game can just go on forever.
You haven't finished but beat a boss.
Just
Get
beat
an
boss.
ending. Are you near an ending?
Well, no.
How many times have you beat it today?
Only once.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't have the greatest goes this time.
Carl's Vogan says I almost feel bad. Don't have any candy, so I'm not answering the door.
Don't feel bad.
Then again, this isn't the US, so they should find their own candy-related holidays. Where are you? Update on your story about Dustin before Fresh. It's 8 hours before permanent damage can happen, not 18.
Holy
Moral of the story,
shit.
always go to the doctor if something's wrong, or you'll lose your kids. Well, you'll
my
just
God.
lose half the capacity to get them, right? Unless you get one of those double twist knots. It's
yeah.
raining. Evil Dolly says it's raining here for Halloween. It sucks because I got the full-size bars to give out.
Oh,
You were gonna be one of the good houses.
God damn it!
You invested in the full-size bars. Now you just gotta eat them all yourself. One time I was watching this video game show. There were stories and cats and everything.
Spooky. No.
I accidentally turned on a light earlier and a kid knocked on my door. I felt so bad for ignoring them. Oh man.
Oh man.
You're gonna find bags of shit on your doorstep soon.
Why are you such a terrible person?
And now I have to go get fat, says Evil Dolly.
I have magnetic tears, so this is making
Did you want us to
Just
post
play
childhood
through
costumes at all, or nah?
Can you pull them up?
I don't have a way set up today to pull them up. It's something I'd like to do in the... you guys will still have those pictures in the future.
Plus, it would take away from Prepaid Pie and
Yeah.
Lot 83.
Yeah, we should mention those guys again. We don't want to... You don't want me to steal their thunder, do you?
No way.
They paid to have their costumes shown here. Our sponsors for today's show.
Aww, Prepaid Pie. Oh, you had already showed Lod. Also, aw, Lod. Aw. Aw.
There's a couple more here that popped up. When I was 6 years old, I was playing outside with friends on my way home, stopped next to the bush and had a wasp nest. It was covered in dozens of wasps. I ended up standing there for like a mannequin for 2 hours, terrified of being stung.
2 hours?
Just don't move, I thought. I finally took a deep breath, and of course, with perfect tact and style, decided to run while screaming all the way home, flailing my arms. Neighbors came by later to ask if I was fine. Luckily only bit once.
Holy shit.
Wow.
That's scary.
Jinx says, this happened a while ago when I was around 18. I was sat at home alone in my bedroom playing with a video game, and I had headphones on so I couldn't hear anything outside my room. A few moments later, a tall white man burst into our room with a shocked look on his face. I guess he thought the house he broke into was empty, and then starts sprinting down the stairs out the front door. Terrified that he had hurt my dogs downstairs, I ran after him, yelling and crying, and my neighbors outside for help to find out which direction he went. After calling the police, I had to sit in the drive around with them in blacked out windows, but we never ended up finding him. This led me to being paranoid and leaving the house for years. The scariest thing is the guy talking on the phone outside my house 2 hours earlier. I had seen the guy outside talking on a phone 2 hours earlier.
Holy shit. That's scary.
Well,
I just
that
never
is
want to
spooks.
stop.
if you're not close to beating it, I think we should call it a day. This could go on forever. Did you guys enjoy Becky's gameplay today? Was she good?
I never got to talk to the chat though. There, I died.
She misses you guys?
I died.
Oh, she died. You're not very good at this game.
No.
I've heard that it's really hard to die in this.
And everyone pooped themselves. The end.
Lisa was really happy to hang out all day, huh?
Yeah, man. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
She's purring so much. It's Lisa Day.
Yeah.
I hope you guys had a good Halloween. Are you guys all giving out candy today? I know some of you are ignoring your doorbell. That makes you evil. I guess actually we should wrap this up because we wanted to check out maybe that thing.
Oh, right. Of course.
So, a new thing released by Undertale creator
Yeah.
that we might check out. So stay tuned. But otherwise, thanks again, everybody, for tuning in, sharing your stories, sharing your trauma. And thanks one more time to Lod83 and Prepaid Pie.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Oh, bye.
Whoops, I didn't know we were leaving. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.